when I ended that call that I was just doing, when I ended that call, I hit the end stream button instead of the end call button, which is why the last stream just disappeared, and I'm back again in the new one now. At least this helps split the videos up for when they're finally uploaded, though, so people can view them in chunks rather than, well, I don't know what's more convenient at the end of the day. Anyway, I'm going to be taking another call in just a few minutes. But until then, I suppose we want to have another quick look at the results, how the results are panning out. I'll give it a second just for some of you guys to get back into the stream, because I think we've only got a few people watching at the moment. This night is so fucked up on all sides. I mean, you're right. You're right. It's all over the place. So now we're back in the situation where, according to the BBC at least, Labour's gained 11 and the Tories are -3. I'm getting a call. Oh. Hello? Hello? Nope. Hang on a minute. It's all going wrong. It was all going so well, and then I had to end the stream, and then I'm having these technical issues. We'll be back. We've got 15 people watching again already. Okay, let me try and answer it again. Hello.
Yo.
Oh, I can hear you now. How's it going?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you, man?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. What do you think of how things are panning out this evening, then?
I think that YouTube video you made worked.
Oh, the Corbyn Keck candidate one.
Yeah. Chatelet, my dude.
Chatelet, indeed. I mean, let me just double check. How many views did that get in the end? I'm trying to figure out how many kippers it might have swung in the election or not.
I think no, I think it was a combination of. Do you remember I was saying to you about there's going to be a section of the Remain vote that turns up and goes, "I'm voting to fuck over Theresa May."
Yeah,
that definitely happened.
Oh yeah.
Your generation definitely turned out, and you're the first generation that's actually done that since the 1960s. So that definitely made a difference. The left held its vote. The old Tony Benn style Lexiteers, they came back, and the neoliberal Blairites clearly aren't that numerous as voters, because all of them will have abandoned ship. And look what has happened.
Yeah, I think.
You know what I've been doing for the past 4 hours? I've been trolling the fuck out. You know, all the MPs I've got shit on, all of the MPs I've got dirt on, all of the ones who haven't been like disciplined, who I've been sort of. You remember that guy who came out right at the beginning of the campaign and said I couldn't possibly vote for Jeremy Corbyn? I ought to. Stroking his gap flap. There's a recording of him.
I ought to remind you. Hold on. I ought to remind you. You are on the live stream at the moment. As long as you're happy with all of this.
Shit. I might be quitting anyway, so I don't really mind if I say anything about what I've been up to.
Okay. As long as you know. As long as you know.
Anyway, should I introduce myself to your listeners? Are they watchers? What are they called? I'm old, man.
Viewers. We'll go for viewers. Why not?
Hello, Capn Switzerland's YouTube viewers. How are you all? Oh wait, I've got to go to your channel. Oh, I can see what they say if I go to your channel. This is how old I am. Oh my god. Right.
Yeah, go in the chat and you'll be able to see what the various people are saying.
Yeah. I've so what I've been like doing is Laura Kuhnsberg basically just gave me credit for fucking Theresa May on security, because let's face it, no one from the left was going to give him a smashing on that. It was only people like you or me who give a shit about stuff like that.
So you got props from Laura Kuhnsberg then?
Well, she said, what did she say at 3 in the morning? Someone sent me the video and said, what was it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure Laura Kuhnsberg's talking about that clip you've got pinned to the top of your page. And I was like, what? And then I listened to the clip and it's her going, oh yeah, the campaign changed when Labour married their austerity narrative with the police cuts.
Yes.
And of course, the Canary ain't going to go on about police cuts. They're the type of people who chant, "What do we want? Dead cops. When we want them now." So that story was never going to be coming out from them. I know we picked it up, and then LBC picked it up a day later. But the thing was, everyone else was being all polite, and they were obeying that rule of not campaigning, and I was like, no, fuck that. Like, kids have got nails in their heads, and Theresa May cut the cops. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show everybody the picture of Theresa May telling the clip of Theresa May telling the cops that they were scaremongering about terrorism when they warned her that that exact thing that happened in Manchester was going to happen. The fact that it happened again, you got a woman who's like, there's 3 fucking terrorist attacks. Oh, another thing I was doing today was I've been trolling the fuck out of Tommy Robinson's Facebook page, calling him a sellout for supporting Theresa May, or as they call her, Sharia May. And being like, you fucking sellout. Like, how can you support this woman who you've been attacking for the last 7 years?
I did find that a little bit peculiar. I think it was a tweet or something by Tommy Robinson that I saw, and it was something like, you know, if you want a terrorist for a neighbour, vote Labour, playing off of the old slogan from a few decades back. But what I found interesting by that is, you know, yeah, obviously from Tommy Robinson's perspective, he's not going to be a fan of Labour, but I was so surprised that it seems, therefore, since he wasn't attacking Theresa May, he was coming out for the Tories. They're not going to do any better on the sort of things that he's after. You know, they're both two in the same as far as Robinson's probably concerned.
If they wanted a change in politics, people like Tommy Robinson, they should have held to the UKIP banner. And the fact that they didn't, they abandoned. Right, think about what the Corbynistas did, right? They had wave after wave after wave of attack from all over the place. And one thing, even though the Corbynistas are all loads of different people, there's like old heads and there's younger ones, all sorts of different people. But one thing they all did uniformly was they just held the line. They held to the banner and they didn't back down at all.
Yeah.
What we've learned about the UKIPers and the right is they back down. They're a bit like England in football tournaments. They get to the semi-finals, they start fucking celebrating like they've won. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you haven't finished shit yet, mate. You should have held the line. Like, so for example, during this general election, if I was in charge of UKIP strategy, I would have been like, we are going to hammer Tory election fraud. We're going to hammer police cuts. Basically, the stuff I was putting out on my Bevan News. Because if the UKIP had put out those narratives, they'd have won some seats. But because they bowed out to the Tory narrative and said Theresa the Appeaser was one of theirs, they got their own voters punished them for it. Which I couldn't be happier today. I was preparing for like, I was preparing for 50 seats. And I was preparing to defend Corbyn after we went down to 50 seats. And I told you, coming up with language for that.
But I told you, didn't I? I've been saying to you all the way through. I thought
you were right. You were right, mate. I give it to you. You were right. You were right.
Oh, but smashing. Yeah, so for the benefit of people who are watching who probably don't know, do you want to tell them, I think you've mentioned Nye Bevan once already, but do you want to tell them?
Yeah, that guy there, I think, who says Tommy Robinson is an Israeli shill, I think that guy might have a point there. I'm joking. He might do. I think Tommy Robinson's a Quilliam shill, frankly. I think people like him, they're part of the old thing. But yeah, I run a page called Nye Bevan News. We ran a thing, the hardship fund. Some of your bloody students might be skint enough to have used it, actually. Like when they tried charging everyone £25 for votes, I set up this thing where people could put money in and we'd give it out. Yeah. And I then spent the next 7 days giving out money in £25 installments because a couple of mad bastards. This one guy donated £1,000. I'm not even joking. He gave me £1,000 and he was like, give that out in £25 installments, please. I was like, well, yeah, okay. They called the police on us, which was weird. We had to get the PayPal had to be reviewed by PayPal to prove that we weren't like taking any of the money or anything. We proved we were completely clean, and then ever since then we've been sort of marked. What else have we done? Oh, we did the data protection request. You know when everybody flooded the Labour Party HQ with data protection requests? We did that, and we just cover Parliament and shit. I found out today our stats are better than the BBC. That was fucking brilliant.
Are they better than the BBC
who are they paying to run their Facebook pages? Sorry, mate.
No, go on.
I wonder, like, who people like the BBC, who are they paying to run their Facebook pages? Because I'm telling you, their social media is so terribly run, and like you can't get away with banning comments anymore unless it's for like a really good reason. Because if you do, you can just tell by the tone of the message threads, right? You can't be the BBC and be banning loads of people from your threads, but that seems to be all the people who run their Facebook pages do. And if you do that, what you actually do is you screw your own traffic, because comments push stuff up the home feed. So I think this is about, there's loads of like grandpas running the the in inverted commas mainstream media's social media pages,
yeah,
and they haven't got a fucking clue how to do it, right? So your generation are just there running fucking rings around them, and that's what we've seen. This is what this as an action is about: is the youth don't vote, yeah, they do now, and also they run your media into the ground as well.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I mean,
we're gonna have to be nice to the young people. That's what we're gonna have to do.
The most amazing thing that I've seen during this election on social media like Facebook, for example, is it's not just the level that I've seen of young people sort of, you know, sharing around news articles and the rest of it, but I've seen so many people, you know, sharing, you know, Corbyn memes, creating their own Corbyn memes, all the rest of it. Like, it's been such a self-propagating thing, you know. And when we talk about meme magic and mimetic propaganda, the young have been doing it themselves. I mean, I've even made about 3 or 4 Corbyn meme videos in the past month or so. You know, there's just been a load of us at it. That's probably what's helped us do it, I think.
Well, did you read in the WikiLeaks? Did you read any of those WikiLeaks dumps? There was a dump in one of them. They found out that the CIA have got their own like memetic lab or something.
They've got a meme division. Yes. No, I heard about that. Yeah.
Oh, thank God! We Hillaried Theresa May.
We did. She's Hillary. We're Trump.
Hijacked everything that happened to Hillary. We basically hijacked that, and I think we all also watched what they did to the Bernie Sanders supporters, and we were like, fuck letting that happen to us. And so there was sort of like this echo effect that was going on, which helped us to stay ahead, always a couple of steps ahead of them, because those Clinton people are really close to the Blairites in the Labour Party, like really close. If you can tell, Blairite controlled websites and stuff because they're owned by that blue water fucking company that the Hillary side of the Democratic Party in the USA use. So
I've heard about
there's a lot of cross-pollination there. That's now fucked. Those people are fucked. Their investments are fucked. The Labour Friends of Israel, their investment in the party is now fucked. Like, what are those people going to do? Sorry, what?
No. I was just saying, you're right. I've heard of Blue Water, and it seems like all of the vested interests that there were in common with the Democrats over in America, New Labour over here, Friends of Israel, like you're saying, all of the vested interests are going, well, what the fuck's happened? Our party's been taken away from us. We had a good thing going on here. We had our nails in it, and now the bloody young have come along and stolen it from us.
Well, what needs to happen now is you lot, these people watching this thread, people like you need to start standing for election for stuff. It doesn't even matter what it is. Local election, council seats, internal party elections. Every single one of you need to spread like a plague throughout all of the institutions of both local government and the party, all 550,000 of you. Once you do that, you will nail down what you just took. Because that's the next step now, is no matter what happens in this general election, if you think those bad stuff are going to just walk away after you just fucking stole their shit off them, you are sorely mistaken. So you all need to stand for election for stuff, you know?
No, you're right. They'll be wanting it back, and they'll be using whatever means necessary that they can. I mean, I've said to you in a private conversation before, I suppose I don't mind saying it in front of the stream as well. I've considered the idea of running for some sort of office at some point at times in the past. But what's kind of stopped me, I think, is, you know, it's partly my age. You know, I know Marie Black, or whatever her name is, that SNP woman. I think she's even slightly younger than me, but she's sort of an exception to the rule. Generally, I've always thought I want to get a little bit older before I bother trying to do that sort of stuff. But I'll tell you what, and I've said this to you before, I'll say this to the stream now as well. I'm moving to Stoke-on-Trent in about a month or so's time. That's where my university's based. That's where a lot of my friends live at the moment. Now, the local council elections are coming about in 2019, 2 years from now.
Yeah.
And if I were to run to be a councillor in those elections, if I were to do it in a ward where most of the students live, I'm an alumni of that university. That could do me a hell of a lot of favours if I were to run for that.
Over and above that, you're a proven Brexiteer, right? So you're a Lexiteer. That's like the Brexit capital of Britain, according to UKIP. So you'd actually have an advantage amongst those people too. You know, the ones who are like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? I want to vote for a pro-Brexit candidate, and there aren't any because UKIP are a shit show. those Stokies will have you, right?
Yeah, and Stokes
and
a Labour seat.
Anyone who watches your channel should do the same. You should all think about it. Hunter S. Thompson said something very interesting. He was asked if what advice would he give to the youth with regards to politics, and he said, stand for election. Your youth doesn't matter, and your lack of a record doesn't matter. If anything, you wait long enough, you'll end up like me, and you'll have so much shit on you that you could never stand, right? Because it can go the other way. You know, you hang around in life, stuff happens. And I think Nye Bevan was elected by your age or before, so I don't think there's any particular reason why people of your age shouldn't. I find that argument really shitty, actually, and I always have that somehow. You know, you got more debt than most people who've got a house had at your age, right?
It's true.
Most people in your generation know more about debt, about the world, about the economy, about politics than the baby boomers during during the 80s. Those fuckers, you know, some of the stuff they came out with and some of the stuff they thought, they didn't actually know anything about the politics. Whereas your generation, you talk about politics pretty much 18 hours a day. You're constantly plugged into your phones. There's no way people can say that you aren't educated. Oh yeah, by the way, you have this genius internet thing which just tells you everything you could possibly want to know ever.
That's a bit of a plus. Yeah.
Yeah. There's never been anything like it. So if I was in your generation, if I was around all your age and all of the age of your viewers, every one of you, I'd find something to stand for election for in your local area and just start taking shit over. It's what the Tories do. The Tory election fraud was all about the fact that Tories don't have any grassroots members and they have to bust them around and pay them, right?
Yeah.
Labour don't have to do that. That's all Tory election fraud was about. And that tells you in a nutshell where politics is going. There's a demographic crisis going on and it's about to hit politics. Basically, the Tory party members are going to die and their voters are going to die too. So,
I mean, it's a favourite line of Peter Hitchens. He likes always saying, "Oh, the Conservative Party isn't really conservative. The sooner it dies and kills over, the better." Now, you know, as Labour supporters, I'm sure we're more than happy to see that coaxed along. But it does raise a wider point. I think that the sort of before Corbyn came along for Labour as well, Labour and the Conservatives were both husks of what it is that they were supposed to represent. They both moved so close to the centre that you couldn't tell them apart from one another. I think so. Yeah, you're right. I think that's some very good advice, and I hope that the viewers listening think the same. If there are people out there who
hang on, wait. Is that a real thing or is that a prediction? 153 to Labour, 136 to the Tories.
Hang on a minute.
What?
I'm seeing. Oh, are you talking about the total number of seats at the moment?
Yeah. Hagel just said 153, 136.
The numbers I've got in front of me are 155 for Labour and 139 for the Tories, and that's plus 16 for Labour and minus 4 for the Tories.
Joffrey Baratheon is my favourite character, by the way.
Oh, Game of Thrones.
Yeah. I was so sad when he died. Do you know?
he fucking deserved it though. He was a shit.
No,
I've been waiting.
Sanders of Game of Thrones. I'm joking. I just like to make these stupid comparisons and see if I can justify them to people and just to troll them. Sorry. Wait, are these counts real? Jesus fucking Christ! This is going even better than I thought.
Yeah. It's I mean, we've got about half of the thing that gets me right is that we haven't had London yet. Not for the most part.
Oh
we've had less than half of the London seats so far. And that's going to be a big old take for Labour there. Now, at the moment, the Tories are down 4 seats. What's their current count? Were they on 331 before at the 2015 election?
Yeah, they were on 331.
So they need to lose.
Oh my God, can you imagine how much? I can't believe this woman, this stupid cunt woman, thought that this was going to work. Sorry, I don't mean to swear, but I hate her so much, and I don't get to speak openly. But the fact that she thought that she could just roll these stacked dice and nothing was going to go wrong for her. I am so grateful to absolutely everybody that they went, yeah, no, bitch, actually, that's not the way that's going to rattle out. And as an addition to that, you can go fuck yourself. I'm so happy. I could die in 5 minutes time. I would be the happiest man on this planet.
I'm seeing.
If we end up with
Yeah, I'm just going to say I'm seeing comments at the moment in the feed. I think people must be watching Theresa May somewhere. Oh shit, she's on ITV right now. Oh Christ, she does not look happy. She does not look happy at all. Oh my God!
I'm watching this live feed. The guy in the background with a big black. He looks like a dildo. I mean, it literally like one of those ones you could render someone unconscious with. Oh my God! Look at her face.
Oh, she is not happy at all. She really is.
What is wrong with her? Like, why did she think this was a good idea?
It's like she's pulling a depression gurn or something. That's the kind of face that I'm seeing from her right now. Oh my God! She's swallowing sadness like there's no tomorrow at the moment. Oh,
wait! Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Oh right, that's it. I'm making a video of that tomorrow. I'm going to take this clip of Theresa May at her results. I'm going to have "Hello, darkness, my old friend" zooming in slowly, and then just superimpose her going "strong and stable, strong and stable, strong and stable" over the back of it.
Have you seen that meme of when they mix Trump and Hillary's face? She looks like that meme.
Really? No, I haven't seen that meme.
Yeah, look at her, man. She looks like that Trillery meme. Like, you know, when you mix up Trump and Hillary, and she's got. This is the thing that really fucked me off about her, right? This is a woman with no kids. She's slashing education budget. This is a woman with no elderly dependents. She gets rid of all the fucking social care for elderly people. It's like, she wants to kill cute furry animals and also hollow out elephant bones, I guess, so she can pick her eyeballs with them. I don't know, like, could you make it? Also, her strategists must be thinking, right, if everything we've said about Jeremy Corbyn is true, how the fuck did we just lose? Like, seriously, how the fuck is this happening? And I'll tell you, they need to know that they got memed into oblivion. And full fact, when I was exposing those full fact fuckers, who were paid for by the Tories, that's what I rang them up. Do you remember when I played you that recording where I said, "Praise Keck, welcome to the fucking meme war, normies"? And they just don't get it. They don't get what's happening.
This is it. This is the fucking meme war. The right were winning the meme war for a couple of years, but the left's bringing it on back now. We've co-opted the forces of Keck and we're using it for our own means. That's what's happening.
I'll tell you what Stargon and that lot did. They missed a fucking trick because they thought they'd done the Trump thing and then it was all over, and they did not realize that we were just like, yeah, all of those tactics you come up with, we're copy and pasting those, and we're about to meme fucking Jeremy fucking Corbyn as the Prime Ministership. You can go fuck yourself.
Are there any videos out by Sargon this evening? Because I imagine he's shitting the bed at the moment. He's probably not very happy.
We should make one that references salt mining, maybe. Isn't that one of the themes he likes to run with?
Salt mining. Sargon of Akkad salt mine.
He is a fucking Tory still. I can't get over Sargon. And the standards of his journal, like, he used to be really good at, agree with him or disagree, he used to be really good at just, like, going through whatever story it was, going through the stories that were written about it, any data that might be sent, any old books that you could, and he used to be pretty good at presenting that stuff. And in the last 6 months, I have never seen someone who doesn't criticize Theresa May. Like, how can you keep on making videos about how bad Jeremy Corbyn is? Because he's got some things that are wrong with him, obviously. But how can you just ignore Theresa May? If you look at his videos, he hasn't made anything about how colossally shit she is. Now, you can't keep on making videos about Jeremy Corbyn, terrorism, this, that, and the other, and ignore Theresa May's record as the Home Secretary, where I don't know if any of your readers, viewers, have got mates who've been to prison, but I have, and I can tell you, in the last 5, 6, 7 years, our prisons are a worrying fucking thing that really need to be solved. Because well, I was in probation, right, and I had this guy sat next to me, and he was like, he's an English guy, and he was like, "I fucking love Welsh prisons." I was like, "Why?" So what a mad thing to say. And he was like, "Oh, well, the thing is, they're still run by the government, and there's no racism here. The only racism in Welsh prisons is Swansea versus Cardiff." I was like, "What do you mean about that? Like, what, black on white?" And he's like, "Oh, no, not black on white. Religious racism. Like, in English prisons, there's a big problem because you do have, like, Wahhabi extremists. They're like, they give out Bibles like they're the fucking Gideon. They give out Qurans like they're the Gideon's Bible, right? Only it's like Saudi Arabian fucking Wahhabi versions of the Quran. and then you've got these really vulnerable, poor, fucking young ethnic minority boys being preyed upon by these motherfuckers, and then they come out of these prisons, and that's it. Then they're done, right? Now,
yeah,
that's all on the Maze Watch, that is, and that's part of that. What that's about is importing the American-style prison industrial complex system, and it's fucking the worst. It's bad on so many levels, like on so many levels. And when you've got like ill-educated working class boys coming out of prison going, there's a big problem with this in the prisons, and they can see why. It's bizarre to me that politicians just turn a blind eye to it, but I find it disgusting when people like Sargon turn a blind eye to it, seeing as he claims to be this fucking, oh, you know, I'm the king of the atheists, and I'm protecting everybody from the big bad Muslims. And I'm like, well, you never mention Saudi Arabia. You don't fucking talk about Wahhabism. You never talk about any of this shit. And like everyone else knows this stuff is what it is. Like you seem to be the only fucking guy who hasn't noticed.
Yeah, if I can jump in quickly, that's
sorry.
That's the kind of the issue that I have with Sargon. Like I enjoyed and probably still do enjoy some of his content, but I think he's gone too far off the Muslim bashing deep end. To be honest, I don't think he takes the care anymore to make the distinction between sort of Wahhabist Islam and the more dangerous strains of the ideology, which it is incredibly important that the left comes out and criticizes for the fascism that it is.
He doesn't
make that distinction anymore.
All of these fuckers are dangerous. It's like, no, you sound like Tommy Robinson when you say shit.
He does. He's gone off.
You're exposing your own ignorance of an issue. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, because all he's got to say nowadays is religion of peace. You know, he's gone off the deep end as far as that's concerned. Anyway, I've just finished seeing Theresa May on the screen. Salt mines is the word.
Horrible. Sorry, I'm swearing again. Sorry.
Fine.
This guy, you know, the editor of right, I'm on the BBC, right? Another favourite thing I've got about this election is watching these fucking media people eat shit. Like, there's this guy who works for the Times called Alexi Mostras, and he smeared me in the Times. He said that I was a left-wing firebrand who wanted there to be blood, and I didn't even reference it. But now that we've just done so well in this, I'm going to start up a little crowdfunder. I'm going to try and fucking sue the shit out of that guy because, like, what he wrote about me was horrendous. But of course, the way it is with the left is like they try and have a go at you like that, and they always want us to come out and say, "Oh, there's a conspiracy against me," or "There's a conspiracy against this." They want us to say that shit. It's like baiting us into.
Hello. Oh shit! I think we might have lost him. Is the window still open? Are you still there, dude? No, I think I'm on my own again. Well, it was an interesting chat. I was enjoying that. Hang on a second. Well, in the meantime, let's have a little look at. Let's have a look at some of these results here. What are you guys saying in the chat? What's going on? Labour just hit 200 seats. It's happening. It's happening. Now, the projections, if I'm right, the projections are still putting the Tories, they're putting the Tories about 4 seats short of a majority now, so a little bit higher than the exit poll to start with. So in theory, Tories plus DUP does equal majority. So we might be erring on the side of a Tory government still, perhaps, but there are still more seats to come in. We can see what ends up happening. I mean, it's still looking like a strong showing for Labour. We can say that much at the very least. And there are still quite a few parts of London left to arrive, which are Labour areas. As for the other bits of the country, hard to say where else Labour's going to be scooping up seats. London's their big stronghold that they've still got a bunch of seats to come in for, and that's going to raise their total up. The North East is pretty much in for the most part now. West Midlands, how much of the West Midlands is in? Let me have a quick look here. Oh, that's what about Wolverhampton? What about my patch? How's that turning out? I'll have a look at that in just a second. Let me just see these messages. Phone died. Oh, well, that's where he went. The phone died. Yeah, I'm just Wolverhampton Southwest, Wolverhampton Northeast, Wolverhampton Southeast. Hat trick. They all went for Labour. Jolly good. And what about mine? I think mine was Wolverhampton Northeast. Let's see the results of that. I don't know how long ago that came in, but it's worth having a little look at. Oh, interesting. Okay, swing to Labour of 6%, Conservatives of 10%. I think you're back. Hang on a minute. Oh,
yo,
how's
sorry,
it going?
I'm shit with these fucking things. It ran out of battery.
you know what? This is the first time I've seen your face in a video call. Come to think of it.
Oh shit! Hello. Hiya.
Hiya.
Fuck. I'm smoking, mind. Is that alright? Oh, it
no, the stream can't see you. They can only see my side. So you're fine. Smoke as many drugs as you want. I'm sure no one will be bothered.
Alright.
I mean tobacco cigarettes. Smoke as many tobacco blunts as you like. I'm sure it'll all be fine.
Alright. I'm fucking plugging this headphone socket in, man. You're a fucking loud motherfucker. Right, I know. So yeah, these fucking results coming in. This is insane. I can't get all this. This is just going better than I think anything should. Oh, that's a good forecast. 318,267. I will be 135 seats, guys. I'm not sure. Like, I mean,
I've got to read you this comment out just quickly. Maven Politics said, "Rest in peace, Nuttall. You may have invented the jet engine, but that doesn't translate into votes."
Now listen, Paul Nuttall wove every strand of DNA in all of our bodies. How dare you speak of him so?
I mean, he invented the internet. How dare I use his creation to talk shit about
what
him?
What are you talking about? The internet is merely a manifestation of Paul Nuttall's massive imagination. We all exist within it, okay? We are an epiphenomenon of Paul Nuttall.
We are a Paul Nuttall continuum. We are all Paul Nuttall, and Paul Nuttall is all of us.
What a god-awful human being that man is.
Oh, I've seen loads of pictures online comparing Paul Nuttall to I forget what his name is. Ade Edmondson from Bottom.
Yeah, no, Eddie Hitler, mate.
That's Eddie Hitler. That's the one. Yeah. 6 degrees of Paul Nuttall. Well, speaking of that, because someone's just commented that, I'm 1 degree away from Paul Nuttall because I fucking bumped into him at a train station in Stoke. That happened about 2 or 3 months ago. I said I was going to put the picture up. Actually, I'll make sure to do that at some point soon.
Who does that as an election strategy, though? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to lie about 96 dead people. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, surely you should be paying somebody to tell you not to come out for that stupid fucking idea.
It wasn't great of him. Good prediction last night, bro. Who'd have believed it? I didn't even believe it. When I made that prediction, I was skeptical of it, but that's how it turned out, and it seems I'm better at guessing elections than I thought. There we are.
You know, I found that when I was listening to your voice, it was like you couldn't quite believe what you were saying.
Yeah, I didn't believe it. I really didn't. I just that was what I had in front of me. I called each seat on an individual basis, and I think that was the right thing to do, because it stopped me from sort of having an overall bias trying to go, oh, I'd prefer it if Labour got a bit more here or the Tories got a bit less there. I did it on all the seats and then just joined them all up at the end. And it seems it was strangely accurate, not too far off, within 10, 20 seats for the major parties.
I think the thing you got that other people didn't get was you guessed correctly, or you figured out correctly a good estimate of what the youth boost was going to be. Yeah. Right. And you also figured that because every Brexiteer you knew wasn't voting for Theresa May, you were like, well, that might be happening a lot across the country, and that's their whole election strategy. So that's that out of the fucking window.
Yeah. I knew that only half of the kippers were going to break for the Tories. I wouldn't have guessed in a million years that so many of them would be breaking for Labour. But at most, I only saw half the kippers going blue. So
I forgot to tell you. Right. One of the things we did was we infiltrated what they do is they have like these social media either groups or message threads where they plan stuff like dog piles and that. And me and a couple of others, we infiltrated Blairite ones, and the ones where they were organising the supposed coup that was supposed to be coming after this general election. And we were in there, and I was just like, oh, by the way, like, we work for my band name. I just told them now, and I was like, yeah, we don't need to be in this thread anymore. we were just in here watching you to make sure we could warn everybody when it was coming. They're so sick, man, honest. It's so easy to infiltrate their shit as well. They're so trusting, and they're so fucking needy because they're so thick and they don't know what they're doing. They're like, yeah, we need people to help us. And it's like, okay, you don't understand how the internet works. You totally think I'm on your side. You even think this account I'm talking to you from is real. What a fucking moron you are.
I've just got some more of these stats in front of me here at the moment, man. It's looking pretty nice.
That thing you said about London piqued my interest earlier, because that hadn't occurred to me that all of this good news has come in, and the communist province of fucking London hasn't even announced its.
Yeah, I'd say about if I had to guess, I'd say about half of London is in at this point. So we've got another half to come. The vast majority of that's going to be Labour, obviously. The going after that, I think, is once London's out of the way, I'm looking at this map here. I'm trying to work out where else Labour's going to be filling in from. We're going to have to. We'll probably be in the territory where Labour's going to have to start getting some gains from other parties to keep totting their score up. So they're looking strong at the moment, but
sorry, I think if at the present, if the DUP are willing to do it, they won't even need a supply arrangement. The Tories, they will just be back in government in a coalition, a not very strong one. But of course, depending on what happens with Brexit, Northern Ireland, they might need to represent their constituents and break away from the Tories. And at that point, it'll. You know what's going to remember when I said to you this? Hopefully, what will happen is there'll be a very weak. The best we can hope for is that there'll be a very weak Tory government.
Yeah.
Very much like the Capn government of the late 70s that we can quite easily destroy.
Yeah.
So if we get that, that's good. Because do you remember I was saying to you, I feel a bit sad if we win, because what am I going to do? Like, there's nothing for me to hunt anymore.
You'll be like one of those dogs that finally catches the mailman. You won't know what to do with it once you got it.
What am I supposed to do? I'll have to go back to just doing nothing.
Oh, keep talking, man. I'm just going to lift up. Grab a drink. I've got a frog in my throat, and I don't think it's
fucking die, man. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at these people. Hello. Oh, Maven Politic. You run another page, don't you? I got to give you some data so that you can Facebook's like a traffic funnel, and there's ways of rigging it a little bit so that you can make sure your stuff gets out there. Basically what I do with Night Better News.
Maven's on the ball. If you can get him some more views, that would be good, because his content's pretty good.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And anyone else, if you want a hand with your Facebook, I'm too old for Twitter, and I talk too much. Reddit and all that stuff just fucking bamboozles me. I think 4chan's funny, but I can't really use it. Like, you had to teach me just so that we could shitpost those memes. Oh, God. Do you know that's one of the greatest things I've done in my life? That is stealing Pepe and Keck off the alt-right and dedicating it to Corbyn. And I got to thank you, man. If you hadn't made that brilliant video, we would never have been able to do that. And I think that's the hinge upon which this election turns. And I know that might make me sound like a fucking maniac, but I'm telling you, look what happened since then.
I mean, you know, you can't prove it wasn't meme magic. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, but that sounds very much like those bullshit justifications for God I can't stand.
Oh no! Well, you know, I'm not being totally serious, but you know what? I'm willing to have a frog deity who's on my side in politics if I need to. Tim Farron held a seat, and he's only got a majority of 777 now.
Are you? 4chan is triple seven.
So Tim Farron's held on to his seats with trips. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. We've got 777, mate. 777.
That's amazing.
We need Deep Titanic. We should execute everyone else and make Deep Titanic the person who's in charge of everything. Seize the means of production. That is exactly right.
He knows.
He knows.
Right, Oliver.
I'm loving what's happening to the nationalists. I don't know if any of the people on your page like the SNP, but I can't fucking stand nationalists.
There's one dude on my page, at least I think it's a dude, I don't know their gender, but they're called Scottish Independents. I'm going to guess that they're pro-SNP because they tend to comment on it a fair bit. Aside from them...
That's needed a fucking bloody nose this election. Some of them, especially the online ones, they're fucking beyond. They need to calm down. Sorry, what were you saying?
No, I was just going to say, aside from them, I'm not sure if I've got too many SNP, or at least... This is the difficult thing, right? Because I've got about 500 or so subscribers, but I think the people who comment on a regular basis, that's probably 100 or less. So it's quite hard for me to know, you know, what the total viewership's like.
Oh, wait, I want to go on a completely different tangent. Do you remember that guy on the Corbyn is Keck video? The one in the comments who was like, Jeremy Corbyn is a national socialist. And he came up with this whole fucking justification for the statement.
I remember.
I thought that was one of the funniest fucking things I ever saw. I copy and pasted that and put it through all the UKIP and Brexit groups to see if I could cream off any of the fucking far-righters in there.
By convincing them that Corbyn's a secret fascist.
Yeah, and that there are secret fascists in the Labour Party. So, hey, you know, if you're a racist, maybe we've got what you need too.
Oh,
fuck it, it's an election, right? You just need to vote. SJWs would go mental if they used. Like, can you imagine if those fucking twats who run the Canary could do any speaking? Actually, they will be able to. By the way, the Canary, Jesus Christ, they are going. If we get into government, those people are going to need to up their game. And that Peter Stefanovic guy, like, he is an ambulance chasing lawyer. Like, how can we have that guy be the voice of let's protect the NHS when he spent the last 30 years fucking suing it? Like, what? But yeah, you try saying this shit to those people, they go mental. But if we do get into government, given that these people are like the self-appointed voices of the movement, in inverted commas, they best fucking up their game, because we're going to get some of the shit they post. Like, people who are connected to people in a government can't post random, crazy, batshit, tinfoil hat-weary shit like that. It's just not cool.
I've just had a comment from Hagel who said, I support the SNP, you calm down.
All right. Right, Hagel, I'll speak to Hagel about this. My problem with the SNP, right, is that it's like wanting to leave Britain as a Scots person. And by the way, hardly any of the Scots can even speak their own language, unlike the Welsh. But if you're going to leave Britain, it's like having squatters move into your house. They force you to move upstairs, and to solve that problem, you just move out. It's the stupidest solution in the world. Like, Scotland created Britain. It's one of the oldest bits of Britain. They've been British since before England existed. And they also created, like, the legal state of Britain as it stands today. Like, the Act of Union was a Scottish thing. So for them to be all like, oh, we want to leave. Why? You can't leave us alone with the fucking Tories. What the fuck? And also, by doing that, by especially the Scottish left, and another thing about the Scottish left that freaks me out is that they're currently self-identifying as both nationalists and socialists. Now, I don't want to join too many dots there, but I'm just saying, like, if you find yourself like loudly proclaiming that you're both a nationalist and a socialist, you might want to read about other people who did that. And maybe, like, to my mind, these are really ancient borders that do not matter as much, and these whole identities we've got. Which are like the national identities we've got within the British identity that we all have collectively. Those national identities are very important, but they are not the most important thing. And the Scots used to be cleverer than that. They used to know that. Like, but for some reason now, all they care about is fucking. We want to be like Scandinavia. Why? You could just be. You could just be in charge of Britain like you have been for the last fucking 100 years or so. Like, what's the difference? What's the problem?
I've said in the past that I feel sorry for the Scots electorally, just because that, you know, historically for the last few decades they always voted Labour. Half the time they'd get the Tories in, and the other half it would be New Labour that just would pay no attention to Scotland anyways. So I can understand at least why the room for the SNP to grow has been there, because you know, the Scots are only ever going to get 50 or so MPs to send to Westminster. They're never going to have you know, it's unlikely they'll ever get the government they want as a whole. I suppose Corbyn's Labour will make steps to address that. I think if Corbyn were to get in, we'd probably see more support for Labour in the future in Scotland. I don't know. That's just my assumption. I'm not Scottish. I don't know too much about it.
Like, look, Scotland got completely fucked over by the whole Blairite regime, so I completely understand it. But what I think is, like, what's happening now with left-wing politics and the Labour movement, for the Scottish left, for the country of Keir Hardie and fucking self not to be involved in this shit is fucking wrong. You know what I mean? They've chosen not to be involved so they can support this fucking yellow team, which, no offense, is going to get smashed. We're in a first past the post system, and also the SNP have completely fucked up the whole drive for independence. Sorry, if you're a Scot who wants to be independent, that's not happening, and it's not happening in the next 100 years. You can put money on that, and barring a massive change in public opinion in Scotland, which isn't going to happen. And you can blame partly Nicola Sturgeon for this. You can blame that whole thing of, oh, we're the real opposition. Do you know how arrogant that made them look? And I know a few jocks, man. They don't like that sort of arrogance. The boys I know from Glasgow, they find that sort of shit fucking beyond. You know what I mean? It really pisses them off. So, like, the SNP they got a bit too big for their fucking boots, and they overplayed their hand, and now they won't have another chance. Their chance to make Scotland independent has gone. And also, had they ever gotten their referendum to be independent, here's another thing that would have happened. And Spain told them it the second the British referendum happened. Spain said, you are not entering the European Union as a state that left a former European Union state. And let me tell you why. I've got the Basque country and I've got Catalonia, and that's exactly what they want. And Italy went, yeah, we've got regions that want to go separate too, so we're not going to fucking back this up. There are even sections of Germany that want to go rogue. No one of the remaining European Union nations wants Scotland to leave the UK and then enter the EU, because it would set a precedent that loads of areas in their own nations would then use as reason why they should be allowed to do the same thing, which isn't the point of the fucking European Union. It's not there to, you know, liberate people. That's not the point of the EU. I don't know if people fucking realise that.
It's there to make one big super state, really. I mean, I said it's there to make one big super state. It had some great intentions, which was, let's bind all the European countries together so they stop going to war with each other. There's the plan. The problem is, binding them all together eventually creates a big super state revolving around Germany, which is exactly the end result we wanted to avoid from the wars. So, there we are.
It's about the means. And the worst thing about the EU.
Oh, I think I've lost him again. Are you still there?
I can hear you.
Oh, you're still there. No. You froze for a second, but you're back.
Yeah, what I really don't like about the EU is it's essentially a money con. You've got Germany are exporting stuff with a weak currency, which with an economy as strong as Germany's, they shouldn't be able to do. And like, so for example, you've got the sterling zone, and every year in the sterling zone, you English taxpayers bail out Wales, right? That's part of what happens if you want to have an economic zone that's run with one currency. Germany wants to have a currency zone, but it doesn't want to bail out places like Greece, the way that the Exchequer in London has to bail out places like Wales. Now, you can't have it both ways. It's not the way economics works. And if you try and fiddle the rules like that, eventually it'll bite you in the ass. And that's exactly what we're seeing unfold now with the European Union. The London Exchequer has to bail out the fringes of the UK sterling zone on a yearly basis. And the London Exchequer does so on the basis that there are natural resources in those areas. There's a workforce in those areas. You know, there's the British state, which has historical ties, and they feel all these things combined into a responsibility that they have to. Yeah, Germany doesn't do that with Greece. Germany just exploits, makes the money, and then when the fucking crash happens, they just go, oh yeah, we'll lend you the money to bail yourselves out, but you'll have to pay us back. You know, it's bullshit. Like, London doesn't do that to Wales every year. London doesn't say, oh, we bailed you out again, even though London's been bailing out to the economy for ages.
Yeah. No, it's a completely different relationship. It definitely is. I'm just for the benefit of the viewers, I'm going to jump into where a few of the seats seem to be at quickly.
All right.
Right now, what I'm seeing from ITV is the Conservatives are on No, that must be a projection, surely. Yeah, that's a projection. I'm going to wait for it to tick around. I saw the Conservatives on 320. I had a fucking heart attack for a second then. I thought, so soon? No, there's no fucking way. Right, I'll go to the BBC instead then. They're a little bit further behind. Labour on 198, Conservatives on 191. Labour's up 20 seats, the Conservatives are down 9 seats. So as things stand at the moment, the Tories are going to lose their majority. But then plus DUP would still get them over the line. I don't know where it's going to go, man. I really don't. How much of London is left, apparently? There's still a fair bit of London left, so Labour's going to get a boost from there. But once London's in, I'm not quite sure where else they're going to be pulling these seats from, to be honest. They might, their sort of, their rise might dry up a little bit. Just because I was getting myself all hyped and excited, thinking, oh, maybe Labour might be able to do it. They might just be able to snatch off the Tories. But I don't know.
We've done it, you ever. The whole point of this election was to not lose many seats. Sorry, I hate to be a bummer, but the fact that we even came close to forming a government is insane. And the fact that that's still on the cards is, again, I will say, insane.
We've smashed expectations
to all the work you fuckers did.
Yeah. No, you're right there, and we should take that away at least from Labour, that considering where they were putting us a month ago and where everyone was expecting us to be at this point, we've completely smashed expectations. The fact that we could cost Theresa May a majority is we've done fairly well there. I guess just seeing all the results coming in, I just started getting my hopes up, thinking, oh, we might be able to do it. You know, I wanted the big prize. I wanted the jackpot.
No, the SNP were always going to let us down because the way they ran their election, it forced a unification of the vote against them up north, and you're seeing the Lib Dems take a little bit of benefit from that, but also the Tories, which is really, really sad, because that, do you know what that actually means? It means if the Scottish left had broken ranks with the SNP and sided with some of the Labour candidates, we would have had a few more seats up there too, which might have put it over the line. So guess who let us down? The Scottish left, which is a thing I've been running with for fucking months.
Well, you might
say they let it go, and come back. Obviously, we're socialists again now.
Well, you make a good point, but the thing to remember is that if a few of the Scottish seats from the SNP had swung to Labour, that still wouldn't have changed the overall maths of Labour plus SNP equals government, because you're switching between the same two halves of the.
No. But in some seats, what happened was that the anti SNP vote coalesced around a Tory candidate, where it could just as easily have coalesced around a Labour candidate, and would have had anyone from the SNP left in those constituencies showed serious signs of going, all right, you've elected a socialist, we're coming back. But they didn't. So, there's that.
Yeah.
It's as if Plaid Cymru. I wish Plaid Cymru would just stop. Do you know what I mean? Just go away.
I wish they just stopped. How have they done? They've got 0 seats so far. Wait, no, that can't be right.
I every election.
No, they got 3. They got 3.
I find the idea that the leader, Leanne Wood, is trotted up as if she's somehow equal to those other. She's not even Tim Farron's equal. Do you know what I mean? Tim Farron's got about fucking 4 or 5 million voters at least. Same with UKIP usually. So, they deserve to be there on vote share. Plaid Cymru, they can't even get a majority of Welsh people to fucking vote for them. All right, so why are they on this national pedestal? It's a joke.
I think,
it's an insult to English people, Scottish people, to serious political people in the rest of the UK. To have that joke on there as if she's equal to that, I find it insulting to the whole process.
I mean, I guess
so. If you can march on SNP, I march on Welsh nationalists.
I won't for a second say you're not an equal opportunities offender. I've noticed that much about you since I've been chatting to you. No, I think the reason that Plaid is raised up on this pedestal is because they'll cry foul if the Scottish nationalists get all the attention, but they get overlooked. So they'll.
Fuck that. You know what I mean? It's like you English people are too nice. That's your problem.
We are. It's in our Paul Nuttall DNA. When the blessed Paul Nuttall created us all and we became the continuum of Paul Nuttall, a little bit of politeness got thrown in there as well.
I forgot about that, Jesus.
Yeah, the eternal.
Why did they pick him? Like, why did they pick him? I'm sure there was that woman. She seems to come across well to audience.
Suzanne Evans, yeah. I wouldn't mind sitting there. Yeah, I think she'd take that part in a better direction than Nuttall's led it. Nuttall's driven it way far off the wrong direction. I think
the problem with Paul Nuttall is his name is onomatopoeic. Like, it sounds like what it looks like. You know, he looks like he's just gonna go headbutting his way through every single. Like getting settled into.
He's not quite the tranquil sort of eternal nuts that we all. No. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, no, I inhaled smash. It's late. It's Ash inhaling late. God.
We're off to Lulu's for some Blue Nun afterwards.
Did you just make an Andrew Neil reference?
Yes, I do.
Oh my God, man! Come on. You know he gets like 500 grand a year.
Yeah, no wonder he doesn't want Labour to get in. He's going to have to pay a little bit more tax, isn't he?
Yeah. Do you know that thing on his head? That's where they invented Farmville. That is. They beta tested it on Andrew Neil's head, and then
what, growing crops amongst all the fuzz and the frizz.
Yeah. And do you know he's Wayne Rooney's dad?
Oh,
Andrew Neil is Wayne Rooney's father. Like, they've got the same hair.
I don't know. I mean, Andrew Neil is the biggest BBC shill goblin I think I've ever seen. But for some reason,
I like him sometimes, though, you know.
But for some reason, I like watching him. Yeah, I like the fact that whether it's Labour, Tory, whoever put in front of him, he does kick the shit out of them, and I do enjoy seeing that at least. I suppose. Even if he is a complete shill, but there we are.
I just.
Right, seats as they stand at the moment: Labour 205, Tories 198, Labour still up 20, Conservatives still down 9, and we've had 460 in all together. At least this is what I'm seeing. And you've frozen on my screen again. You're just there on my screen, pulling this really sort of derpy face because it's not moving. I imagine you'll be back in a second. You unfroze yourself last time. Oh, call failed. I see. Maybe the phone died again. I don't know. Right, I'll see what you guys in the chat are saying. I seem to have got my second wind. I felt my voice going a little bit earlier, and I was getting tired. I'm fresh. We're having fun. Conservatives 224, Labour 223. Shit. So they've drawn even now. Yeah, we said from the very beginning this was going to come down to the wire. Detective Dopamine there's said as much, and he's right as well. Yeah, no, it's getting close, like bloody close. Tense. See, this is the thing. My calculations were that Labour could get helped across the line by the SNP. But seeing as the SNP's collapsed and halved the number of MPs that they're getting, that now makes it harder for the SNP to help Labour across the line. So things have been thrown up in the air here. Now it still looks like the Tories are going to be short of their majority as things stand at the moment, but they haven't lost enough seats that the DUP can't help them over the line, as I keep saying. It's gonna go right down to the line, guys. I don't know what more I can say. It really is. Although I'll tell you what, if Labour end up with over 40% of the vote, that will still get me a little bit of money. The Tories may not get under 300 seats, but if Labour get over 40%, that's almost as good for me. I'm always thinking about my shekels. It's a very important thing to consider. Right, I think. Yep, I think that's me back on my own here. Let's. I've just established. We can next see. It died again. Corbyn held his seat. Oh, what are you folks in the chats telling me? Catherine Pogue says, waiting for them bellwethers. Yes, those will be important. Well, I mean, we've got most of the seats in now, so we can kind of tell how they're going, but the bellwethers do tend to indicate who's going to win quite often, so those are worth looking at. Conservatives and Labour are both on over 40% of the vote that's currently been announced, so we might be seeing a return to two-party politics here. I've heard a number of pundits saying that in the last week and a half or so, that the smaller parties have been drained out to the bigger parties. That's how it seems to be panning out here. Conservatives 226, Labour 224. It was going to happen sooner, folks. It was going to happen sooner or later. The Tories were always projected to get more seats than Labour. That they were going to overtake Labour at some point in the night. So that I'm not too concerned about. It would be nice if it didn't happen, but I'm not concerned by it. What I care about is, as I say, once London's in, once Yorkshire and the Humber's in, once those final big Labour seat stores are through, where's Labour going to be at? Where are the Tories going to be at? And where's going to be the wriggle room for the final seats? Because that's really going to affect it. Oh, he's back again. Welcome back. Hello.
Oh, sorry, I was listening to you on the video, so I was waiting for you to say on the one video.
Ah, no bother. Fuck it up.
Wait, it's got to be on speaker.
I've been speaking for too long this evening.
Yeah, people shouldn't worry about the Tories taking the lead. Sadly, that's always going to be the way it is.
Yeah.
Until we infect the system a bit more. Get rid of these swine.
It looks like the Tories have overtaken in terms of the popular vote as well, but there's a hell of a lot of votes stacked up in London, so that's still to happen. Yeah, it's all about where things end up. My dream scenario is maybe the Tories could just lose enough seats that even the DUP wouldn't be able to help them out. That would put them in a very weak position. But then again, I don't want a super hung parliament, because then that's going to fuck everything up for everyone, and Brexit included. So
I don't know. That's why you've got to have you need to pick up the habit of low expectations, because then tonight would have been awesome for you. Because this is just, and in fact, that worst case scenario, hung parliament.
Yep.
A bit of 1920s style politics wouldn't do our political class any fucking harm whatsoever. These people need to learn some discipline. They also need to learn some respect for the electorate. And that's what all of them are going to be. They're not going to be going into Parliament joyous at their wins. They're going to be going into Parliament terrified by the fact that there are now 40% plus voting for either party. The turnout is up. And that people seem to be very angry and very animated about the way things are going. That's going to be the tone of this Parliament. So,
and they're not going to accept they're not going to accept the same old bullshit anymore either. I mean, Theresa May's strong and stable has told us that much. Just trying to go for the robo rhetoric isn't going to cut it anymore. People want...
How much debt did you tell me you were in?
Oh, fucking hell. Let me think. 3 years of uni plus a year of master's degree. Maybe 50, 60K. I try not to think about it, to be honest.
You know what I mean? That's not on. Like, we cannot create a generation of people who are debt slaves. And so this is just the spear tip, what we've done here, to make sure your generation are not saddled with this bullshit. The spear tip we've made, we've got to ram it through, all the way through. It doesn't matter really what the result is now, because it's good for us. It shows that we are there, and we've smashed their little system and gone, yeah, that's right, here we are, you fuckers. And now it's a case of just keep on hammering it. We need to get, we've got to start getting those by-election wins. And like I was saying earlier, you lot have got to start standing for stuff and taking over local council seats and stuff like that. You've got to start locking down every little bit of the British political system so that it can't be turned on you the way it got turned on you in the last 10 years.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I agree with exactly what you
with
said.
the debt, mate, it's not acceptable. Like, it's not acceptable for a young man of your age and other people who are watching this stream. The economy cannot afford for your spending power to be soaked up like that. Okay, it's just a fact of economics.
No, I mean, it's like I've said many times before, really, the issue with after the 2008 crash and all of the the recession, the austerity, the wage freezes, and all the rest of it since, it's not assisting in growing the economy, because in order to grow an economy, you need to borrow to invest, and you need consumer spending. And if people have got no money in their pocket, and you're cutting all of the public services, so none of the money's being spent, you've got to break a few eggs to make an omelette, basically. If everyone's pulling back and pulling back and pulling back, no wonder the economy's got fucking anemic growth. I mean, what are we on at the moment? 2%. Is it 2% growth? Is that generally where we're at nowadays?
But wait, the thing about all of that shit is the numbers on those that are done on those on that 2% growth thing. The numbers are so volatile. By the time they tell you there's been 2% growth, you can argue it 2% either way.
Oh,
it's
and how much of it's London as well? How much of it's London as well?
Oh wait, shit! I forgot about this point. Here's the thing: we all got to ask ourselves now, right? What have we lost? 20% of the value of the pound in our pocket. Sterling has gone down about 20% because of this election. What the fuck did Theresa May do this for?
Yep, not very strong or stable, is it? Not very strong or stable.
What the fuck has she done this for? We just lost 20% of the value of sterling, guys. What, so Theresa May can lose her fucking majority in the House of Commons? Somebody explain to me whose plan this was and why. I just don't get it. And what you see here is a blind, lashing out political class. It's like a lumbering beast with no eyes, and you guys just bashed it right on the fucking head. And it has absolutely no idea what it's going to do next. Do you know the only person who understands what's going on in the political system right now, who's just been elected to Parliament, is Jeremy Corbyn and the people around him. Jeremy Corbyn and John McDonnell literally know what is happening here, and everyone else is like, what the fuck's going on? That's it. That's what we just did to the system. So the only people walking into Parliament going, I know what's happening here, are people like Jeremy Corbyn and John McDonnell. Everyone else who's walking into Parliament is going, I am so confused by that election. What? I mean, Theresa May's fucked it. We've done a good job.
Yeah.
Just got to keep hammering it home.
She's fucked it so badly, though. She had a decent image. She had a decent level of popularity. She was riding so well in the polls. She had to get greedy and call a general election, and look at all the trouble it caused for her.
She believed her own bullshit. I think that Australian guy, Linton Crosby, told this woman, right, oh, you're the second coming of Thatcher, you are. Now, apart from the fact that for a sizable portion of this fucking population, that is no good thing. There's also the fact that she is no Thatcher. She is at best. She's like a thrift store Thatcher, right? Thatcher here's why people love Thatcher. She was pretty much from the self-made working class. Her dad was a grocer, so she grew up in a grocer's shop. She was a grocer's daughter. So they understood that Thatcher understood their lives. She was a mother to a house. She was a householder. She did all the things that mothers did, right? So she understood all of those things. So when she said I'm cutting the education budget, she's had a kid. She knows what that means. When Theresa May says to you, I'm cutting the education budget, she does not know what the fuck that means. So they take it from Thatcher, they wouldn't take it from Theresa May. And then again, Thatcher looked after her parents and stuff. Thatcher did all of those things. That's why Thatcher tried to cut the NHS, but she wouldn't do away with it. It's because she thought it was the third rail of British politics, and she was like, no, I'm just going to do other shit, like destroy everything else. You can keep your NHS, but I'm destroying everything else, and I'll run it down as hard as I can. So for them to try and the fact they believed their own bullshit and their own marketing that she was the second coming of Thatcher, like there were loads of the things you need to tick a box for a candidate, especially a female candidate. This isn't about sexism. This is about the way politics works. There's so many boxes you need to tick as a female candidate, and much like Hillary Clinton, like Theresa May just didn't do it. And I'm no defender of Thatcher. I don't like Thatcher. I respect her. Like anyone with a political opponent should respect their opponent. But for them to say that she was nothing on Thatcher, like Thatcher would have wiped the floor with Theresa May. She would have picked her fucking teeth with her.
Because I think the biggest problem that I see with Theresa May, at least, is that I don't think that she believes in the things that she's saying, and that's and like or loathe Thatcher, I think Thatcher believed in her own shit. Corbyn, he believes in his own shit. Even Tim Farron believes in his own shit. And I hate the shit that Tim Farron believes in. Theresa May does not believe in her own programme. When I look at her talk, when she makes that sort of grimace on her face, I always notice that it's either A, when she's under pressure, or B, when she's having to sell the interviewer or the public a load of bollocks that I don't think she believes in. I think that's her tell, basically. When she's
that's another criticism you can level at nationalists, is that they don't actually believe anything other than I want my bit of this land, and then that's it. You know, they're actually like separate. They're actually like what will happen when they get their land is that they'll become two wings of a political spectrum, right? And they'll be opponents. So that's why they only say one thing. And so it's quite dishonest, because you don't actually believe in anything. Now, whether you disagree with Jeremy Corbyn's beliefs or not, you cannot deny that he believes them.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. And I think that's the age that we're probably going to have to be dragged kicking and screaming into, is the rebirth of the age of conviction politicians. No more triangulation, no more sound bites. It's going to be more about, here's a person who stands on a platform of something that they personally actually want to see happen. They're not just there for the job and there for the money. They're doing it because they want to see what they believe in become that change in the country. And that can be stuff I agree with or disagree with, but I've got far more respect for politicians, whatever end of the spectrum they're on, if they actually believe the shit that they're talking about.
Oh, speaking of that, do you think Diane Abbott's actually sick? Because I noticed on Question Time a couple of months ago, sorry, that I don't mean to point this out, but like one of her teeth had gone, and she had this moment in one of her sentences when she's speaking where she paused, and it reminded me of my grandfather when he was suffering of dementia. And I thought, oh, I've never seen Diane Abbott do that before. She never usually stops talking. Do you know, unless someone fucking makes her.
Yeah. You know what?
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I was skeptical at first, just because I thought, oh, you know, illness is the easiest thing to claim to get someone out of the public view. But actually, I had a guy comment on one of my videos a couple of days back, and he said that he'd heard there was this taxi driver who'd drove Diane Abbott somewhere, and he'd spoken to the press basically saying that she spent 3 or 4 hours in the back of the taxi cab mumbling to herself, basically. And my heart kind of sank when I heard that, because I thought, oh shit, she probably does have fucking dementia or something. So it means that all the complete butchering that she's had for the last month for fucking up all of her figures and everything, it's probably not her fault.
Oh yeah, they're fucking savages, mate. Do you know, like, I was raised that when a woman gets to a certain age, and I don't mean to sound old-fashioned, like, but when a woman gets to a certain age, or when a man gets to a certain age, you afford that person a certain level of respect. Just because, oh, look, you made it this far, you fucker, you're still alive. The lack of common fucking courtesy for your elders you see from the press is just horrendous. And the fact that they, they didn't once point out that Theresa May didn't have kids, but she was cutting education budgets, because that's considered rude. But you're allowed to say what the fuck you like about Diane Abbott, because reasons. It's so distasteful, you know?
It's total double standards. It really is. I mean, I'm super conflicted about the issue of Diane Abbott at the moment, because here's the thing. On the one hand, I'm not a massive fan of her personally, okay? And on the other hand, I also see her as being a bit of an electoral liability to Labour. But on the flip side of that, I do think that she's had an unfair time in the press. And I do think if it does turn out to be the case that she is seriously ill and she's got dementia or something else, that makes the whole situation the situation even worse for the people that have been ripping the shit out of her. Now, I'm not an innocent party in this. I've been playing around a little bit and doing hashtag Diane Abbott maths and the rest of it. And, if it is the case she's got dementia, obviously I'm going to feel a bit bad about that. But
no, you can't. It's a joke. No.
Well,
it's making light of something. Hang on. What you're doing, look, those hashtags and stuff and making light of stuff, that's kind of important if it's done in a light-hearted way. But the tone is set in the media by the way they treat her. And there was a total double standard where Theresa May and all of her team, the famous team, they're allowed to make all the fucking mistakes in the world. They don't even have to cost their manifesto, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Diane Abbott, she's not even allowed to stumble over her numbers. She's a 63-year-old woman who, like a record all over it, she has served her constituency and her constituency continue to return her. And whilst that's the case, our British democracy, as we are often told, we respect those things. You don't get to, like, not you personally, but like people don't get to tell across a constituency, like just as we wouldn't get to tell Thanet constituents what to think or vote for or say. And we are reminded of that on the left, especially the Remainers amongst us.
Yeah.
And so I think it should follow they should follow the same rules. That, you know, Hackney has been well served by Diana, but British politics has been quite well served by Diana. But I think the quote, particularly the one about empire, you know, the one of, oh, that's the way white people are. They were having a discussion about empire. So let's have a discussion about empire. At that period of time, the empires came from Northern Europe. We are white. Is anything she's saying, like, factually inaccurate? No, I don't think it is. So what's the fucking problem? Like, I didn't give a shit. Do you know what I mean? I literally couldn't give a fuck about that.
Yeah.
Like, it's cringeworthy. It reminds me a bit of Emily Thornberry's thing about the fucking English flag. And I genuinely, I don't know what your problem is with your own flag, but there we go.
It's the problem. I'll tell you quickly that the problem with our own flag, at least from the way that I see it, this is my own perception of it. The way that it seems to be used is either by far-right groups or football hooligans. Those are the two main connotations for it. Now, I think it's sad that that's the situation. I would like the idea that someone could fly a fucking British flag or an English flag in England and not have it connotated with being some fucking far-righter. So just like we claimed Pepe back, maybe that's the next step. Yeah. Maybe we need to claim back the English flag and the Union Jack as well.
The left need to do this. Like, these symbols, they're important. They've lasted the test of time in history for a reason. And if you let people take them from you, they will. And then if you let them stand for these things, eventually it's like language. Language gets its meaning through use. These things, they, like flags, they get their meaning through use. If you continue to let those people use it in that way, that'll be what it means. So you need to stop that shit, because it's yours. Like, Billy Bragg's is English as fucking anything, right? You know what I mean? If Billy Bragg put on a fucking English, I'll tell you what, there's a good thing where there was this woman who was wearing an England flag as a fucking hijab and shit. I thought that was a pretty good image. Like, it's easy to simplify these things, really easy. But like, what I find about these islands, right, is that we're a full-on mongrel hodgepodge people. And we learned that whole thing about multiculturalism being like bad. We had to learn to put up with each other fucking hundreds of years before anyone from anywhere else turned up. And I think we're pretty good at doing it. And I think this thing against Diane Abbott, it to me, it's distinctly un-English. I'll tell you that, because it's rude. You shouldn't do that to people. It's beneath common courtesy.
We are a polite bunch, aren't we? Yeah. Us English.
And I find it very strange that these same people who, on the one hand, they'll bang on about patriotism and all the rest of it, and then they'll act in the most distinctly rude and un-English fashion you could ever imagine towards somebody, and it's somehow acceptable. And it's acceptable because of people like Rupert Murdoch. It's acceptable because of people like Laura Koonsberg. It's acceptable because of people like Andrew Neil. You know, there's a tone that has been accepted here, which is, you know, these people, they thought they saved the world in the 60s. You know, Tony Blair was one of those anti-war people in the 60s. And what they actually did was they fucking sold out. They sold themselves the council houses. They didn't replace them, and now they rent them to us at an extortionate rate. They gave themselves free education, and they sold off that fucking system, and now you guys have to pay 60 fucking K for it. They sold themselves the national utilities, and now we've all got to pay like £8 to get a bus 2 miles down the road or some shit. And it's just a piss take. You know, they're the most spoilt generation in the world in a way. And the only ones amongst that generation that did all that aren't spoilt are the ones who are on your side in this Corbyn movement, who are like, yeah, we've been fighting this shit all our lives, it's fact. But thank fuck you guys have turned up, because it looks like the tide might finally be turning. Those people, those old heads you see, they've watched it all. And these people have just gotten into the habit of just doing whatever they want. And that's why now, even though Diane Abbott's 63 and she might be having public exposure of dementia, she's just fair game, you know? You're just allowed to do that shit. Yeah. I want to change the tone of that, you know? I want to make it so that there's more common courtesy.
There's a couple of comments we've had from one of my viewers, Mantle, and he's picked up on a few things that you said. saying, "Great, this guy's an SJW. This guy's encouraging."
No, I'm not. No.
Hold on. Hold on. I'm going to give you a chance to reply. Let me fucking finish for 1 second, all right?
Sorry.
I'm going to say, he said, "Oh, great, this guy's an SJW. Now he's encouraging multiculturalism." I was just about to say to you, would you like to clarify and explain to him why that's not the case?
Yeah. I think, I think, like, so for example, let's take the English. To me, the English have got, like, it's a very fluid identity, and it's like there's loads of things bubbling underneath it, and you can see it in your language, you can see it in the way you speak, and like the north-south divide, it's like that's the reflection of a really old divide between the old Danegeld and the other one. So like they're a fascinating people, and so there's like internalized multiculturalism to just the English. You know, when you talk about I'm fucking English born and bred, I am, those people, they don't realize how diverse they are, and you know, there are 4 nations in the UK. We have to learn to put up with each other. There's a reason all those borders between us are so wonky, and why the SNP gives such a fuck. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of blood and toil went into those things, and so we have to learn to put up with each other. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're such a good heart of a global empire, was because we were good at putting up with difference. And figuring out, all right, well, use the law. And the English are brilliant at this. Like, all right, what's the thing everyone can agree on? The Anglo-Saxons particularly have got a talent for doing that. And I don't think it's any coincidence that it's in English-speaking cultures that you have what I feel to be the most freedom. It's because your language has got so much breadth in it for thought and for expression that you know, other languages, to my mind, they just don't compare. And I say that as somebody who, you know, does speak 2 languages. You know, it's much easier to say what you want to say, like, and express it in the way you want to express it. And the thing with English as well is you can like make up words on the spot. So yeah, I think all of those tools that your culture has got, and that British culture has got by extension, are important. They're one of the reasons I think the world might one day end up getting along. And
I'd like to think so. It'd be nice if it was.
Yeah. Like the language of international business is English, mate. Like, and this is why all the people who were scaremongering about Brexit were full of shit, because the world comes to Britain to translate the gobbledygook languages of Europe into something they can fucking understand, so they can do trade. And that's never going to change because of the geography of the thing. So, like, no, I'm not an SJW. I can't stand those fuckers. I wouldn't police language. I think people should be able to say whatever the fuck they want to say, and it's none of my business. If I want a conversation with them, I'm just going to have to deal with that. Like, I can't stand third wave feminism. I think it's the most toxic thing the left has ever fucking come up with, and I can't wait until we fuck. I'm really glad that we didn't let those fuckers take over our movement the way they've taken over the fucking movement in America, because that's why Bernie lost.
Yeah.
And you know, those people they are cancer, man. They hate me. Mate, you call me an SJW. If you fucking ask anyone from the Canary, Evolved Politics, any of the other people on the left, what do you think of the guy who runs NIBEV News? They'll say he's a cunt, which is exactly how I like it. Like, the guy who said that, actually, he's commented and he said, "Okay, I understand. Thanks for the clarification." So I think you've got the message across there. Yeah, it's just we're a complicated island, man, and that's what I like about us, is like we've learned to fucking get the fuck along, and like we know when things are out of line. And I'm just saying, I hate most of the stuff Diane Abbott says, but I found the way she was treated in public very rude for a lady of 63 years of age.
Yeah. No, I'll agree.
Is there anything new that's happened?
Right, I'm going to jump back in. Alex Salmond in Scotland has lost his seat. SNP Alex Salmond.
Fuck for that. Yes.
So that's Alex Salmond's out, Clegg's out, Farron was almost out, Nuttall got obliterated. It's been a bloodbath today.
One night, late December. How can you not be like? Do you remember when I said to you my worst case scenario would be having the SNP and demanding another referendum, throwing their weight around with the ring? It'd be better to have a minority Tory government that we beat the shit out of for however long it can stand.
I mean, it will be fun. It will be fun to have a bolstered Labour opposition that's just hitting the Tories with a stick repeatedly, day in, day out. I've got to admit that'll be fun for me on YouTube at least. I'll probably have more fun attacking the Tories from opposition than I will from defending Labour from government.
If all of your readers and followers are like Labour Party members, one of the things they need to do is find out who the troublesome MPs in their area are and keep a fucking eye on them. And just send them messages and emails going, look, I'm not happy with the way you keep coming out with these public statements. And if you keep doing it, I'm going to troll the shit out of your social media feeds and make you look like a mug. You know, and then they just shut up. Ring them up and get recordings of them. That's perfect as well. Whenever you ring your MP, record it. In fact, if you go to your GP and shit and you're worried that there's going to be problems, record it. Record this shit. And if they know you've got a recording of them fucking up, it's amazing how much people just shut up or do whatever it was you wanted them to do just so that you don't release the fucking recording you've got of them being a cunt.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a bit like Richard Nixon, actually. Sorry about that, but that's kind of the way the fucking world. Have you seen that Adam Curtis documentary where he says we're all Richard Nixon now?
Is that the normalisation one he did?
Yeah.
I had a massive issue with that documentary. I thought it was.
Why is that, man?
I thought that normalisation documentary was a very well-made piece of propaganda in the guise of an anti-establishment, I'm going to tell you how things really are documentary.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Fine work. You say that like it's a bad thing.
Oh no, I think it was a bad thing because this is the thing. I think that fundamentally what that documentary was doing was shilling for war in Syria and shilling against Donald Trump. Now, I'm not a fan of Trump personally, but it's not the BBC showing some documentary that they've commissioned. It's not their job to be shilling against Trump, nor is it their job to be trying to encourage us to go to war in Syria. There were some very interesting points made in the documentary.
Oh, is that what you took from that we should go into war in Syria?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I was like, he's saying the whole Middle East is a clusterfuck and we should stay well away.
That's not what I'd read into it. There was some interesting stuff about Gaddafi there, but they were putting in a really weird narrative. Did you notice how they focused on Assad in Syria, and they were looking at Trump getting elected, and they were looking at the internet getting created and people communicating, and you think, what a clusterfuck of topics to have for a documentary. That to me that seems really weird.
About it, like Adam Curtis is like 45. His whole generation must be looking at this shit going, what the fuck is happening? Do you know, you got to feel sorry for them, man. You look at Jeremy Corbyn, you got to feel sorry for him to a certain extent, because he must just be like, who are all these hordes of people who just are like rank and file marched on, ready to support me day in, day out? Who the fuck, what the fuck's going on here?
Where do they all come from?
I just don't, I just don't think they still haven't clocked it. Like, Theresa May thinks she can regulate the internet. The fact that stupid bitch thinks that's a possibility says everything. It's just like, that Pandora's box is open, you dumb cunt. Like, how could you fucking possibly think you could do that?
Let me jump in quick. I've got some good news on the seat front. Labour's up 27 seats now, and the Tories are down 11 seats. So yeah, things aren't quite looking as bad for Labour as they were before. I don't know about the individual seats which constituencies have just come in, but that gap seems to be widening a little bit now. The DUP, for anyone who's interested, has 10 seats. So if you add the DNP to the Tories are still down 1 seat from where they were before. Labour up 27. Let me think. They were on 230. Was it 231 or 233? I can't quite remember. But anyway.
What would be brilliant is if Sinn Féin decided to turn up. Sorry.
If Sinn, that would be fucking brilliant. After all the fucking IRA shit.
Labour's balance, like, we're boys.
After all the fucking IRA shit with Corbyn for the last month, Sinn Féin come along and help him over the line to get into government. That would be fucking. Oh my god.
It's gonna be the bomb. No, sorry, is it too soon?
We want a united Ireland. We're going to make it happen. Oh dear.
And so does your Prime Minister.
Your Prime Minister supports the Republican movement. Oh,
I mean, partition, man. Where has it gone wrong? Like, show me one example where, it's caused utter bloodshed and carnage for generations. I mean, fuck. It is like our punishment, you know. It's like, oh, you want your independence? Oh, cool. We'll give you your independence, but what we're going to do is we're just going to draw this tiny little line here. Enjoy that civil war forever. Bye. So fucking cynical.
There's someone in the chat asking after your website now, so I've just told them. So you've got one more viewer or reader now at least.
Yeah, no, it's called NIBEV News. If anybody's got any shit they want to put on it, you're welcome to it. It's run like the NHS, free at the point of use, so there's no ads on it or nothing, and it won't be. Although you said something about ethical ads, I could put an ad for your fucking channel on it, I suppose. And unions, I was trying to say to them, why don't you put ads on my website so that you can try and get people to join unions? And they were like, yeah, whatever. And then the article I sent them, it had like fucking 307,000 reads or something. And I was looking at their website and I was like, your website is shit. Why are you fucking looking down your nose at me? It's because they all, well, the thing is I infiltrated the Gerald Coin campaign. I forgot to tell you about that. What I do is whenever they put their social media campaigns up, I just get one of my editors or me. We'll just go and we'll volunteer in inverted commas and we just get in on their campaign, find out everything they're fucking doing, either leak it or use it to stop them if we didn't put it in Jared Coin's campaign. Like, for example, we told him the best time to do his adverts was like a fucking 3 in the morning or something, so he kept putting his adverts up in the middle of the fucking night where no one could see them, like, you know, when he's doing his sponsored Facebook advertising.
Oh man!
And we told him, oh yeah, what happens is like it gets it out early before everyone else, and what actually happens is it gets buried under everything else. They're fucking idiots, though, man. They've got consultants who they're paying like 50 grand a year to tell them shit, and they're like, the consultants don't know shit. So what I do is I just sort of troll it. The best thing you can find on NIBEV News website is the thing about full fact. And who full fact are is these fucking self-appointed fact checkers, which is the mainstream media, as they say, is their response to, like, I guess, us, right? And what it is they go and they fact check us. Well, what they don't seem to understand is we've got this ticking comment fucking section here. Those bastards fact check us and they'll tell us when we're wrong. So what they do is I looked into them. They're all Associated Press employees. Or other such or independent newspaper employees, and then they were sponsored by a Tory fucking donor, and I basically brutalised their reputation in a day. I've left loads of fucking trolling messages on their answer phone as well. It's kind of funny because they're all getting paid like their turnover is like 600k a year. They want an 800k for next year, and I'm just like, if the people giving you this money knew how fucking useless you were, they wouldn't be giving you their money. And then you look at who's giving them the money. It's all like people who are on the same boards of different charities that are just giving each other's charity money. It looks really dodgy. But the election was on, so I was just focusing on fucking the Tories.
Yeah, I mean, so what's coming of that now then? The whole full facts thing or whatever.
Oh, well,
now, since you guys have done the article on the WhatsApp.
Is for them to is basically for them to shut us down and be like, oh, you're wrong about this, you're wrong about that, because I've got these facts from this source. But the problem is like the people doing that and the sources they're using are funded by people, so they don't understand that everybody knows how the fucking internet works and that they can do their own research.
That's the problem. Yeah. It's not like the old days. It's not like the old days of even 10 years ago we had the internet, but back then there was still a much tighter grip on certain people controlling the information for everyone. There were right. I'll tell you something. Right? Do you want to know why I have such venom for the BBC?
Yeah, go on.
Because I used to trust them. But more than that, I used to trust in them. I used to rely on them. I used to think that they were a very nice, good, unbiased organisation that looked out for me. I liked the programming that they did.
Are you trolling me right now? Is this a troll?
Well, what I'm talking about from the age of me being very young up until I realised I was wrong. You know, when I was little, I used to think, yeah, the BBC is great. They're a lot less biased than the right-wing papers and the left-wing people. I used to have a bit of reliance on the BBC. I may have been a bit late to the party. I think it was probably I was about 14 or 15 before I really started seeing past the blinkers as far as the BBC is concerned. And I've had a passionate hatred for them ever since, because as you know, in politics, the one thing that I cannot stand is someone or something being something but claiming to be another thing. And that goes for politicians who don't believe in the shit that they're saying. That goes for news organizations or companies that are claiming to do or be one thing but actually are doing another. That is the one thing that I can't stand.
Oh my God, that guy bet on Hillary Clinton winning. Are you fucking kidding me? Sorry, I was reading the comment. How could you bet on Hillary winning? It's just, that's insane.
She was going to break that glass ceiling. What are you on about?
Oh, yeah, of course.
I'm with her.
Look, with the BBC, like, it's all about your first impression. So your first impression was positive.
Yeah.
I'm from the valleys of South Wales where there used to be coal mines. My first impression of the BBC was watching my neighbour's doors getting fucking kicked in by those cunts they send to collect their money. So I was just like, yeah, fuck those guys.
See, I guess, come to think of it, where I was born and raised, I am from the sort of the Tory heartland southeast of the country. So I probably didn't have that much of a personal reason to hate the BBC from a young age.
Oh man, the people they send round are the fucking worst people. They're the scum of the earth, man. And they were literally, like, you've got to think, this is an organisation that makes poor people make a decision between, do you want to buy a tin of beans or are you going to pay for this thing you shouldn't have to pay for? There's a very interesting video, unfortunately, made by Michael Moore, which is him going around asking Americans what they think of the license fee. And Americans, you know, those people, they don't understand it. Like, and when you think about it, it's pretty important. What right has a government got to license your right to a television? Like, let's just analyze it. Like, if they don't have the right to, it's like saying it's a form of media, right? So that's like saying they have the right to govern what you read in a newspaper or what you see or hear on the radio. It's just bizarre. You know? And that's why we scare the fuck out of them, because we can just say whatever we want. Like, so for all today, the BBC had to shut up. They weren't allowed to say anything. I was putting out stuff about Theresa May losing files on paedophiles. What else did they put out? A meme with her and Jimmy Savile. What else? Just all the worst shit I could possibly find on these cunts. That's what I put out.
I've got a question. Just quick, sorry. I've got a question asking what part of the valleys you're from. One of the viewers wants to know.
Oh, I'm from right. There's a valley that starts like in a place called Banwyn, and it goes down to a place called Aberdelyce, and it's got a river running through it called the Delyce River, which is like, I think it's a French word, but it's got a mine, the Capn mine, which is one of the only mines where you can actually still go down and look. Yes, fucking man, decimated. It's still fucked. What it is now is like it's commuter belt, just like nice out of the way houses for people who work in places like Cardiff, Swansea.
I see.
And obviously really poor people. Like, I was living in a tent on a mountain there for so there's loads of people there who are fucked, but then there's loads of people who are, and man, drugs is a massive problem up there. Like, the heroin problem in South Wales, you wouldn't fucking believe. And it's, you know, ironically, it spiked when all of our boys were over in Afghanistan. Who'd have thunk it?
Shit. Well, the person who asked that, Mantles, just said that they know that place. I'm assuming they're referring to the first place you mentioned and that they've been there before. So it's a small old world. And then we've got Catherine Pogue talking about the fucking fish finger that ran against Tim Farron. You remember about that?
The fish finger? What? No, I missed that.
Mate, nip on Google or something. There was a fucking fish finger running against Tim Farron in his constituency.
You want to have a look at BBC, because that fucking Tory Remainer bird, who would be a scary Margaret Thatcher type, she's probably giving Theresa May a battering right now.
Which one's that? Is it an MP or?
Yeah.
I
forget her name. Sorry.
Oh, apparently Corbyn said it's time for Theresa May to go.
Yeah, it is. She should fucking resign, mate. This is a joke.
No. I'm happy to agree. I'm just saying it's fucking banter. There's this picture that BBC stuck up on their news site, and it's Corbyn with the fucking smuggest smile you can ever imagine. Just with a quote next to it, just going, "We're very proud of the results. Theresa May should go."
Yeah.
Oh man. I mean, I'll tell you what.
all of you guys. It's everybody, every single person who fucking liked, shared, everyone who nagged one of their family members. Here's something Theresa May didn't have. Someone in every family in this fucking country has had someone who supports Corbyn in it, going, yeah, well, they're lying about that. Yeah, but they're lying about that. Yeah, but they're lying about that. Theresa May didn't have that. So, like, this, I just still can't believe they did it. What a fucking stupid move. You know, like, have you ever played poker?
Yeah.
Do you play poker?
I played it. I played it.
You know when you're chip leading and you're bullying the table, right? And then you try bullying the second biggest stack and they double through you, and all of a sudden you're the fucking fifth biggest stack on an 8 fucking table. Yeah, that's what the Tories just fucking did. It's the stupidest move you can fucking do, and it only happens because of stupidity and laziness. And you can always tell the poker players that do it, and they're cash cows. That's what the Tories, and I couldn't believe it. I was watching them do it, and I was like, this is a really fucking scary move, and that's exactly what they did. It's like when someone whipped their queen out in a game of chess right early on, and they're like, oh, look, I've got this piece that fucking does everything. And you just take it out with a bishop.
I used to fucking do that when I first started learning how to play. I had that queen all over the fucking board, zigzagging around. Yeah, no, but you're right.
With the British people don't like, and it's cockiness, right?
Yeah,
they really don't like cockiness. You know, arrogance like that. If you're humble in strength, it's one of the things the British love the most, especially the English and the Tory English, right? Love that most. Do you know what they did? They must have been disgusted with it, and now looking at the results, they're going to be pissing blood about it. They'll be like, "What the fuck?"
You call an election and you lose us. Yeah, you call an election and you lose our fucking majority.
Yeah.
So as I keep saying, so much for strong and stable, eh? Where the fuck did that go?
Can you imagine though if Owen Smith had won, how bad this would have gone?
Oh my fucking god, we would have got fucking obliterated. We would have been down to less than 200 seats then. I'll tell you that much if fucking Oily Owen had got in charge. Because all of the fucking grassroots support for Corbyn, all of the left, all of the young people, all of the non-voters, they would have pissed right off. They would have buggered off to the Lib Dems and the Greens, probably.
Yeah, it would have dissipated everything, and it would have gone straight back to fucking the shit show that it was. What's your prediction then, Captain fucking Hindsight?
Well, how I think things are going to turn out now. I think it's probably not going to be far off what the BBC have been forecasting, to be honest, which is the Conservatives maybe about 4 or 5 seats short of a majority. That sounds about right to me, to be honest. Maybe a little bit more. I mean, to be honest, right, as I've told you already, I was lucky enough that I did end up predicting it fairly accurately the other day, but you know, I don't have a crystal ball. I feel like I got lucky. I did it on a seat-by-seat basis, but the whole joined-up picture of it and the subtle movements between UKIP to Labour and all the rest of it, I couldn't have seen that shit happening. I had a few instincts about the way that things were going to go, but I'm not a fucking oracle, you know.
I think what you should do is, right, because you've got a good knack for this, but I think a thing that would help you loads is, right, when I'm doing what I'm doing with 9/11 News, what you do is you get into every single forum, right? And during the day then, and whilst you're getting stuff out there, you're interacting with people from all across the political spectrum. And then also in some people want to support the NHS, some people want to support the army, so you're talking to all of them and you're learning what all of them think, right?
Yeah.
I think if everyone on the left did that, there'd be like a mass input of knowledge of what the whole political spectrum wants on the part of all those people on the left who went and did that. And if we could get that like embedded into what the Labour Party starts saying and doing, we'll start hoovering up whole sections of the political spectrum. Because here's the fucking thing. Not everyone's a racist. And even your uncle who is a racist, he's not that racist. You know, he just uses stupid fucking words and he says stupid things largely because it pisses you off. He's polite when he's around the people that he's talking about. And so there's that trend. That's one of the things I'm worried about with the left is that what your friend said there, and I'm appalled that he thought I was, that whole SJW thing. If that comes into our language and the way we act and operate, every gain we've made today is gone. And I mean, it'll go like we're pouring acid on snow. So, because you ain't speaking to the unemployed 45-year-old men from my valley when you talk that shit, okay? And actually, for that matter, you're actually not talking to the 45-year-old Jamaican, second-generation Jamaican immigrants in fucking South London either. Like, so, like, we need to make sure that we're sticking to the policies and the things that are important that actually benefit people. Because we've got to make sure there's, what is it, equality of fucking opportunity, not equality of outcome.
Yes.
And that's what I fucking hate about the SJWs. They're all about equality of outcome. Fuck equality of outcome. What you do with your opportunity is entirely up to you. What I want to make sure is that everybody at least gets a fucking chance.
Plus
60k a year debt.
Let me jump in quick though. Let me jump in quick.
Sorry.
Because what you're saying is true. I think equality of opportunity rather than equality of outcome is the right way to go, because there is no such thing as equality of outcome. There is no uniformity across anything. The fucking entropy is the law of the universe. Things always fucking move from an ordered state to an unordered state.
I love how chirpy you are. Do you know that? You're such a fucking ray of sunshine on the morning.
There can never be true equality. It will never fucking happen. Give up now, social justice warriors. No, but I think it's true. Like, there are some really shit arguments against communism. Now, I'm not a fucking communist myself, you know. I wouldn't even necessarily say I'm a socialist, even though I'm backing Corbyn. But what I would say is that people who go, oh, well, you know, if you give everyone £5 one day, then by the end of the week, someone will have £10 and the other person will have £2. Now, I think that's a shit argument against communism, but it's a great argument to explain entropy, which is things will always move from one state to another. You can never have true equality. It just won't happen.
And yeah, you can't stop it. Like, you just can't.
Yeah.
What I would say is, with regards to like the socialism communism thing, is again, we need to get back to how we're fucking saying these things. Like, what we're talking about is decency. It's a decent country has a decent transport system that is usually owned by the government, so the profits from the transport system go into fucking running the transport system, or maybe putting money into the exchequer. The same thing happens with the healthcare system, should happen with the healthcare system, only without that profit incentive. And the same thing should happen with things like the education system, because what you're actually doing there is you're creating a fucking workforce, which is a resource, a human resource. So like this whole mantra that somehow everything has to have a cost-benefit analysis, which is down to what the profit margin might be at the end of it if we were to privatize it. That whole mentality needs to completely change. Because we do have an opportunity with Brexit. Some of the stuff rhetoric around that is true. We have a unique position in the world where everyone wants to come to Britain at some point in their life. If you ask anybody from throughout the world, what's the top 10 places you'd like to live in? We're in it, okay? And there's a reason for that. It's because we're really decent people. We've got the rule of law. When we change governments, people's fucking stuff doesn't get stolen off them and people don't get executed. We're pretty good at getting along with each other. People pay their taxes. We've got a decent healthcare system. You know, there's loads of reasons why our workforce is healthy and businesses don't have to fucking pay for it. The property market of our capital is a currency of the globe on its own that the super elite and rich use. There's loads of things that are good for about our country, and I think the left really needs to start banging that drum. And once we do that, we'll hoover it all up. We will literally soak up every single fucking. If we could start saying some patriotic stuff too, we'd nail them all. All of them would be like, "Oh, I'll vote for that because it's what they want."
I mean, on that point, I think a good place to start for the left to build off of that sort of rhetoric is the National Health Service, the health service in the national interest for the people. But for the people of this country, providing, there could be a whole angle on that, saying, well, the Conservatives are very unpatriotic if they want to have people fucking on fucking stretchers and hallways.
He's eating shit on national TV. Put it on. He's eating shit. Who's eating shit?
What channel?
Shoveling it into his mouth. Put it on. Have you got iPlayer on?
What fucking channel? BBC.
BBC iPlayer. Put it on. He's Ian Duncan Smith. I'll put it back. Oh my God, his face. He is Theresa May's Tony Benn, right? He is to Theresa May what Tony Benn is to Jeremy Corbyn. Mentor. Look at him. Swallow that shit.
One sec. Let's have a look. IDS, swallow the shit. Oh, he's not on screen at the moment. Not for me, at least. Let me scroll back a little bit. Maybe he was just on the
go
screen.
Back to like 446. Yeah, I fucking hate him with a passion.
I'm not seeing IDS anywhere.
0445. I got him. Am I just tripping balls? Is that what's happening right now?
I'm watching. I've got the BBC feed up, which is up on YouTube, so it might be. Oh no, here's IDS. Here's IDS.
No.
Right, 1 second, then I'll stick this on.
In the polls, she made it on leadership, and now she is the one.
Let me watch you eat some shit. I'm going to turn this back a little bit.
In the morning, would you like to apologise?
Here we go.
50-50 for her. Another minister has just messaged me saying, as William Hague said, the Tory party is absolute monarchy moderated by regicide. That is the territory that we are now in. As I understand it, yeah, they're ruthless. I mean, the thing, Theresa May, is if someone looks like a loser, even though she's on course to be the biggest party,
brutal.
The Tories are ruthless if a leader looks like they can't deliver. There's clearly
your generation deserve a lot of credit
any
for
firm
this.
prediction about what she'll do in the morning. She's huddled away with her advisors.
You fucking turned out, man. No. Seriously, you did.
That very fate sitting with Michelle up there. Michelle.
David, yes, Ian Duncan Smith, former.
Here we go. Here comes IDS.
Here, as is Aisha Hazarika, former Labour Party advisor. Ian Duncan Smith, should she consider her position?
Well, I think it would be a grave error for us directly after a result to suddenly go into the turmoil of a leadership election. So I'm absolutely against it. I think we need some stability right now. We have to figure out what the final result is, and then can we run a government? Can we lead a government? Is the critical question to ask. So these things.
No, you fucking can't, mate.
In the midst of all of that, suddenly say, right, we're going to have a leadership election. That would plunge everything into turmoil. So no, I'm not in favour of that.
But are you saying that she should have, when you're saying a period of time, and then she could step down?
No, I'm saying that we need to, first of all, find out what the result is, what the final result, whether or not it's feasible for us.
He's not having fun.
To put a government together. We don't know that yet.
Corbyn's calling for her to resign.
I know, it's fucking great, isn't it?
Numbers. If it's feasible for us to put a government together, then actually at least govern, then that changes the...
What you want to do is start trolling the American left and going, by the way, guys, this is how you fucking organise a revolution, you pansies.
I just love the fact that after all the expectations for this election to start with, how it was going to be Labour's obliteration, the night seems to be ending up with Corbyn calling for Theresa May's resignation. Like,
says it all.
Oh man, you know what? I'm looking at the results coming in. Let's have a look. There's 587 of 650 seats declared here. That's what I'm seeing. So the Tories are on 281 seats. So as long as they only get 18 more seats, I win about 300 quid from the bookies. If they don't and they get more, then as long as Labour get over 40% of the vote, I'm still in for a lot of money at the bookies. If neither of those things
Chukwuemunna's eating shit. This is just the best thing that's ever happened in my life.
Oh, hang on a bit. Is this still on BBC?
What we're dealing with, and then
it's on after IDS.
Have to talk to
all right, hold up then.
Brexit may not be delivered. It's not the sort of Brexit you would like.
Congratulations on your victory, first of all.
Oh, here we are.
Your vote went up by 12,000 or something. But let's just cut to the chase. What do you make of what's happened? I mean, you and many others misjudged.
He knows. I've messaged him loads of times.
Well, first of all, the Prime Minister held this election for naked party political reasons. It was opportunism writ large. And she wanted a personal mandate to pursue an extreme job-destroying Brexit. And she's been denied that. And I'm absolutely delighted about that. And let's be frank about the reason that she's been denied that. It isn't just that she ran an absolutely terrible campaign and clearly is not up to campaigning, being with people, talking to people about the issues. That was exposed in Technicolor. Whereas Jeremy is absolutely at home, campaigning, talking to people, getting involved in the debate.
He loves Jeremy now, doesn't he?
Many people will have, changed their minds and, have certainly reflected on this campaign.
Capn Swiss. Can I interject on that comment there?
Yeah, go for it.
Unfortunately, we now have to work with that cunt. If we're to form of government, he's going to be one of the faces we're going to have to show because he plays well in America. He'd be a pretty good foreign secretary over there. He'd be able to do well in that swamp as well, and we wouldn't have to fucking put up with him.
Hey, well, look! I tell you what, I knew fully well going into this election that there were going to have to be a lot of Blairites doing well for themselves and getting tasty jobs.
I got loads of dirt on Chukwuemunna. Chukwuemunna and his funding, the money that's gone into Chukwuemunna. If you wanted to fucking wreck him, we could do that too. I mean, the funding he's had is really, really dodgy.
Are we talking?
Has Amber Rudd gone? Propaganda. Is that true? Amber Rudd's gone.
Is Amber Rudd? Hang on a minute. Let me check the chat. Are people saying Amber Rudd's out? Someone's saying it. Yeah, propaganda's saying it. People were saying that Rudd was gone. Let me just have a quick. Poor Rudd.
Mate, just like all those family members. I'm really sorry. That's harsh. Fuck her.
Let's see. Looking likely that she's lost a seat. Let's see on latest. I'm on Twitter at the moment.
Oh no,
she's held. She's held with a tiny majority.
300 votes. Is that it?
Ooh.
Jesus.
Well, for the record, I said she'd hold it. It was close. It was fucking close. I wasn't sure on it, but I did stick that one down.
No, but come on, man. Think about it. How many of you fucking young people have turned out and just gone, yeah, fuck you, Tory. I'm voting against you because you're a cunt.
It's true. I mean, I'm proud. I'm so proud of all my fucking mates, even the ones who've all gone off to download. They all sent off their postal votes or got someone to be proxies for them and all the rest of it. They were fucking dedicated to the cause, man.
Jeez.
Yeah. So Rudd's held on. No wonder she wanted 3 recounts when the margin was that slim. Yeah.
Do you know, this might be the point in history where they said the NHS was saved. Like, no jokes. And all your fucking generation, like, literally turned out and went, yeah, you know this bitch who wants to sell off the fucking NHS? She can fucking lose her job. That's what we reckon.
Yeah. There's right, the Conservatives are on 285 seats now. That's -12. There's fucking hell. There's only 56 seats left to be announced.
Hang on. What was Corbyn on before this? It was like 2 something, wasn't it?
Oh, Corbyn was on. I think he was on like 230 maybe.
Right. Yeah. So I'll tell you what. This is all details. We've just exceeded we exceeded expectations as soon as it was 230.
Hold on, let me bring up the results quick. We've got 2015 general election here. I should know these numbers because they're fucking burnt into the back of my brain after all the shit I've been doing in the last couple of weeks. 2015, Miliband got 232 seats, and then we lost one during the course of the parliament. So we were on 231 before this election happened.
So what was the share of the vote under Miliband?
Under Miliband, Labour got 30%. And under Corbyn, it looks like Labour's got 40%. So that's a 10% increase under Jez's leadership. But
fucking unelectable, guys.
I was about to say,
just got to accept it, okay? People do not want what he's got to offer, all right? And when are you guys going to understand that? I mean, how many prime ministers has he got to fucking get rid of before people understand he's unelectable? He's literally about to scalp his second prime minister.
Oh my
Tony Blair
God.
once made big play, right? Tony Blair once made big play about scalping the Tory leader of the opposition like 5 times. It says a lot about a Labour leader that with his own fucking party sinking knife after knife into his back, he's like Jon Snow, completely unknifable.
Staggering onwards. Fucking, yeah.
He's taken out 2 Tory prime ministers. She's going. That's
fucking. I cannot wait. I don't care who becomes the next Tory leader. I cannot wait to see Jeremy Corbyn against him in the dispatch box, going, "Well, you're my 3rd Tory prime minister in 2 years.
Yeah.
I've won 2 leadership elections. You've won 1."
Jupiter Rising. What you need to do is join the Labour Party and like turn it into what you want it to be. We don't need a none of the above party. We've got a none of the above party. It's called the status quo. You know, it's the fucking worst thing in the world.
It's called not fucking voting.
On destroying stuff.
Yeah. I've got recommendations here saying follow Sky News. They're more up to date.
Yeah, but I hate Murdoch, man. I hate him more than I hate the BBC.
Well, I mean, I hate Murdoch, I hate the Beeb, I hate all of them, to be honest, but I'm not going to, I don't give a shit what fucking coverage I'm watching, really. People are watching this coverage as opposed to watching other people's coverage, so I'm pleased about that. I don't mind what I have to take in to filter out to other people, like, you know. If they're watching, if there are fucking 40 people sitting in a dark room somewhere watching a dude...
I'll tell you what would be interesting. Let's go watch and see what the play is in America. Like, the Americans are going to be like, what the fuck did the British just do?
Oh, yeah, what are the Yanks going to make of this? There's the question. Oh man, the Tories are close, right? 290 versus 247 on Sky. Come on, you Tory bastards! Do not get any more than 9 seats. I want my 300 quid. Let's make it happen.
What is it? You got to keep it under 300.
If the Tories get under 300, I've got a big payday coming. If Labour manage to get over 40% of the vote, I've also got a big payday coming. If neither of them things happen, I'm probably going to just about make back the money that I bet in the first place, which is an okay result. But, you know, I did spend 20 quid on that Domino's pizza.
Yeah, no, there's a President Trump stream and they're running it. I can't fucking wait for Sargon of Akkad to realise how much those fuckers dropped the ball. I'll be like, yeah, you were so obsessed with America. Guess what? You left this fucking fight to us. And guess what? I think we just won it. I memed a meme of times gone by.
Well, no, why am I? This
praise
is the
Keck.
wrong stream.
Are we allowed to say praise Keck, or does everyone think I'm a fucking far-right fascist when I say that?
Look, all right, this is my fucking YouTube channel where they watch the fucking Corbyn Kekistani video, so I'm sure they're not going to mind too much.
Good.
Yeah.
Chatelet, my dude. We stole your fucking meme, God. Corbyn's the Keck candidate. She said it herself, coalition of chaos.
All right, the Tories are on 299 seats now. So I don't think I'm going to be winning that payday, unfortunately.
Unlucky, but unlucky.
Oh, no, actually, come to think of it, I'll still put a fair bit of money on them getting between 300 and 325 seats. So it's not all bad. I'm going to have to...
a fucking flatbed truck shoveling all this shit into the studio for these people to be shoveling down their throats.
Is fucking Andrew Neil about anywhere on the BBC, or is he not doing the
Of course
today?
he fucking isn't. It's like when tax scandals hit, he just disappears from Twitter. Emily Maitlis is literally fucking choking on the feces just being funneled down her throat. Stop coughing in my ear, Emily Maitlis. Fuck off.
Oh, right.
I think that's unfortunate, though. UKIP should have had an MP. Do you know what? All of this could have been avoided. Do you know if in 2014 Farage had won that seat in Thanet, Farage would have been in the Parliament, UKIP might have won 2 or 3 more seats. They would have felt like they were being represented. There might not have even been a fucking referendum. Do you know what I mean?
It would have been a very different world. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just... Yeah, no, of course the City of London runs the whole fucking shit show. But let me tell you what happened this year at Jupiter Rising. Labour won 5 seats on the City of London's Guild Council, which is the one that decides the EO fucking rights and privileges of the City of London, what happens on that board, which is historic.
Sorry,
and
one second. Dude, I need to nip to the loo, so if you can keep my stream warm for me for about 5 minutes or so.
Okay.
Just keep chatting to the audience. Do what you're doing.
All right, yeah. It's gone all fucking Rothschilds now. Look. Oh man, I don't care about that stuff. Like, I think we need to get people elected. We can change the law. The fact we can't regulate the City of London is absolutely insane. Like, because they made this deal with Bill the Bastard back in 1066. Apparently, we're not allowed to fucking regulate what goes on in their little area because, you know, old rights and privileges. I'll tell you a funny story about the City of London, actually. I used to work behind the bar at a strip club called the Nag's Head Gentleman's Venue on the Whitechapel Road. And that was like a stone's throw from the fucking, the square mile. And bankers used to come in there all the time. This is the thing that made me really angry about politics again. Because, like, I started off when I was like a teenager organising Iraq war protests. And then I had a few protests about like university fees for English students because I thought it was fucking racist. And then when Welsh students and when Welsh MPs voted for that, I was like, oh fuck this is a shit show. They're all a bunch of traitors. And then I like sort of got out of politics and went to London and just became a wanker. And then I was working behind this bar, and this one banker, he fucking spent 32.5 grand in one night. I shit you not, like in one like 7-hour period. And he had like, the dancers were like 150 quid for 20 minutes and stuff, and he had like 8 of them in there for the whole time. And he was just passed out drunk. They were just fucking putting his card in and waking him up, getting him to bash his keys in so he could they could take more money out, like bottles of champagne, all this shit. And he came in like a few weeks later, and I was like, "Oh, how the fuck can you afford all that?" He's like, "Oh, it was bonus week. It's not even real money, really. They just give it to us." And like those bonuses were paid directly out of the bankers' bailouts that they took out of our tax taker. And that's kind of the reason why you're all 60 fucking grand in debt and shit. And I think that, honest, I wanted to fucking dive across the bar and absolutely batter the cunt, but to my shame, I didn't. And then later that Christmas, they were basically running girls out of the place. And I was like, oh, I don't want to do this. Like, this is beyond. So I'm having to turn a blind eye to basically prostitution of Eastern European girls who were coming in with bruises and shit. Started recording them and stuff, and ended up having the shit kicked out of me. And that's why I've got this stupid scar on my head, which is the reason why I call myself Barry Jotta, because I'm a fucking writer. And yeah, that fucking place, if you're in London, if you go to Whitechapel Road, it's opposite one of the biggest mosques in London, like this down. And it's where protests happen sometimes. If you look at those YouTube videos of Lauren Southern getting, like, she put it, intimidated by the left, it's a dark fucking grotty venue just opposite that area in East London. And yeah, London's a shit show, man. We need to there's a lot of people in London. They need law. Like, there needs to be a reassertion of the commons where there was this guy called Jack Cade back in like the 13th century, and he nearly fucking brought down the monarchy, and he brought the whole commons to bear and made some demands from the crown, and they had to give to him, and they're still part of our constitution today. And then after he got all the deals out of them, a few weeks later in that season, they fucking stabbed him in his house. But we need another fucking movement like that, where we turn up and we, like what your generation have done with this election, where you were like, yeah, we can see what this is, and you've all turned out. And like I said earlier, like, none of that hasn't happened. I'm 32 now, and I haven't seen a generation that was like, yeah, we're doing something about this. We're going to sign up and vote, and we don't give a shit if the system's crap. We're just gonna weigh it in on one side, and you can deal with the consequences, you motherfuckers. Are we looking at stats? Oh, the BBC are behind on me. I've got 290, 249, but it's probably ahead on Sky. Fuck, what are they pumping Dimblebot with to keep him going? He looks like a White Walker, man. Our whole political class look like White Walkers to me, apart from Corbyn, obviously. Yeah, there's another one. You fucking pasty motherfuckers. Yeah, that's right. Everyone who's on this TV show should be sacked too. Is anybody in agreement with that? Do you think everybody who's involved with the BBC and Sky, the political class, do you think they should all just be fucking sacked for their incompetence? Because Christ on a bike, how long are they going to be allowed to get things wrong whilst claiming, what is it, 6-figure wages? Ah, Theresa May, you horrendous woman. What did she say? Is it going to feed back? Let's find out. Oh no, I am going to speak her. Strong and stable, Theresa. That completely fucked up, didn't it? That was possibly the worst decision you made in your life. You know, obviously, barring joining the fucking Tory party, you soulless cunt. Ah, oh, Jez is happy. You have shot the fuck out of Jeremy Corbyn. I can tell you all that for a fact. He's like, I swear to God, I had 2 speeches tonight. Yeah, their bubble isn't a bubble. It's true. It's true. Well, the thing about the BBC as well is they send fucking thugs to people's houses and go, you know that tin of beans? You can't buy that because you need to give me some money because, you know, reasons.
Sup?
Hello.
Hello. How's it going?
Oh, do you know what's really weird is you turning up on the sound like some sort of ghost before the feed has gotten there.
Like a fucking preemptive phantom just appearing there. It's the spirit of Paul Nuttall. That's what it is. He,
we are all but thoughts,
we are all
epiphenomenons in the continuum that is the Nuttall.
That's going to have to be a new meme for the channel. We've already got Tim Farron's a prick, and the next one's going to have to be the Paul Nuttall continuum. Paul Nuttall is beyond space and time.
Incompetent, rank incompetence as well. And the thing is, all of this shit, right? The political class's laziness, the BBC's incompetence, the media in general's incompetence, all of it is predicated on the fact that we're all somehow fucking thick as shit retards or something, right? Which is in and of itself an insulting fucking notion. The most ill-educated, in inverted commas, person understands basic politics. Like, there were miners who couldn't read and write. They understood supply and demand. So, you know, this whole fucking notion, it's so patronizing. Drip in with disdain. Oh, you plebs, you couldn't possibly understand what we're talking about or what needs to happen. You need us to lead you. And it's like, yeah, you know what? If you keep saying that to us, we're going to elect someone like Jeremy Corbyn, who you fucking hate, and you're just going to have to deal with that. And like, more power to it. I feel sorry for the Americans. You know, the American left dropped the ball. They could have had Sanders if they'd held the line. You know the way we held the line against the Blairites, all of us, because we knew exactly what they were doing and we just didn't fall for it.
Yeah.
And the way we all like stood the line when they were trying to bait people on social media so that they could screenshot the comments so that they could purge them from the party, and the way we all dealt with that like a fucking hive mind. The American left should have done that, and then we'd be talking about having Bernie on one side and Corbyn on the other. But I'm glad I'm on this side. Fuck.
Yeah. We seem to have got the good end of the deal. I feel really bad for the fucking Yanks and the fact that, you know, Bernie got rigged out of the fucking thing. That's showing how fucking tired I am now. I can't do my words properly. No, but Bernie got completely rigged out of the chance to be the Democratic candidate. We're lucky that we managed to get Corbyn. To be honest, I would have, if I was in America, out of complete salt, I definitely would not have voted for Clinton. I would have, I would have either spoilt my ballot or gone for one of the third party candidates. I couldn't have brought myself to vote for Trump, even if he was the populist candidate. But there's no way in hell I would have backed Clinton just because she had a Democrat fucking badge on her.
The difference is like on our side of the pond, right? When that neoliberal wing of the party tried to move against our side, there were people like us to like go back at them and fight them back. I think the problem is in America, if you do that, apparently you might end up dead. Do you know what I mean? So like there's a bit of a difference in of the order of magnitude of what goes on there. So like there are a few Bernie Sanders activists who got ousted from their own campaigns. I know that happened, and I know that happened in a few of the supposedly pro Jeremy Corbyn Facebook groups, where it's a common tactic. They come in and they try and become the admins on the groups. If you look at We Trust and Support Jeremy Corbyn on Facebook, you'll see there is one hell of a militant admin in there who just sort of switches off the fucking comments and stuff. And what they'll do is they'll pretend to be the most Corbyn people ever and try and get themselves into positions on the forums, and then they'll just remove everyone else from the forums. They do that with the ground campaigns too in the USA. That's how they did it to they did that to Bernie. They took over Bernie's campaigns in some areas where people who were actually pro-Clinton were, in inverted commas, running Bernie Sanders' campaign, and they stole it off the local organizers. You know, the local ones who like rise up by dint of the force of the movement. Because they're like, come on guys, let's do this.
The actual grassroots.
Like people like you, basically. Yeah. So they let it happen because they were weak. They let it happen.
I mean, I can see what you're saying. It's like if I grew this YouTube channel, because we've spoken before about collaborating on possibly some sort of wider project. Imagine if we grew a sort of a media network going on, and then a few fucking Blairites infiltrated and started taking over aspects and channels of it. I'd be fucking livid, because the whole point of this shit that I'm doing here is to be, you know, face value with people, you know, to try and go, okay, look, we've got different political opinions. Let's talk about them. I'm going to say what I believe. You can agree with it. You can disagree with it. I'm a Labour supporter, blah, blah, blah. The last thing I need are fucking Blairite shills ruining my good thing I have going on.
I had some that infiltrated 9/11 News. I also had a Sky News employee who came on 9/11 News. And what they basically did was they lifted all the data that I used to run the page, and the posting policy, and they just set up their own pages. And that's what they do. It's sort of like they're sort of like Day of the Triffids. Or there was this old TV show called Round the Twist, and in it.
I remember that shit. Yeah, go on, carry on.
Yeah, right. You know the mushrooms that could imitate people? That's basically what they come and do. It's fucking rank, man. But hey, that's how those people live, right? That's how they survive. I feel sorry for them because it means they haven't got any original thoughts, I guess, and they can't do anything of their own initiative.
Yeah. I mean, original thoughts make you unpopular because you go against whatever the prevailing wisdom is. But if no one ever had any original thoughts, then nothing would ever fucking change. We'd still be doing exactly the same shit we were doing 500 years ago, you know?
Lucian Crosby there is absolutely right. Bernie Sanders was very much the... just to get to your comments. Bernie Sanders is very much the anti-establishment candidate. And I can't believe the Democrats couldn't see that. The way it was going to swing was... for the Democrats to get away with it, they sort of had to do a similar thing to what the Labour Party have done, which is, well, we have changed. Look how much we've changed. And if you pick another Blairite or if you pick another neoliberal, the electorate aren't thick. Again, predicated on them being stupid, predicated on people not being able to see through the focus group bullshit fucking buzzwords, which increasingly, these bald monkeys that we all are. It turns out we're not half bad at figuring out patterns. Imagine that. It's for them not to know that this stuff is blatantly not working after Brexit, after Trump. For a party like the Conservatives to run a campaign the way they ran it, it was just like, you fucking bunch of grandpas, you no idea of what the world is like now. You are not fit for purpose.
No,
I feel sorry for them in a way. They're like,
the world's changed. I mean, fucking hell. The rate that the world's changing nowadays, I can hardly fucking keep up with it. And I was only born in 1994, so for them lot, they probably don't have a clue. Yeah. Oh man, I'm beginning to hang here. I need the fucking shops to open in 2 hours so I can get a big fucking can of Monster or something.
Why's that? Haven't you got coffee?
I've got no caffeine in the flat at the moment. Well, no, I can make a coffee if I really want. I'm not much of a coffee drinker, to be honest, though.
If you drink a coffee now, you won't get to sleep.
Yeah, I'll hold on. It looks like all the results, or at least nearly all the results, are going to be in within the next hour, maybe. So then I'll. So
what are they on? Can they make a government yet?
The Tories are not going to be able to make a government by themselves. They can either do a minority and hope for help off of the DUP.
Yeah, but wait. What that means is that this government is over. It's no longer a Tory government.
That correct.
Means that the Corbyn movement destroyed a government in what? Fucking months.
yeah. I mean, when was it that Cameron stood down? It was June. It was June, wasn't it?
June 2016. Yeah.
Shit, so it's been less than a year. In less than a year.
It took us 11 months to dismantle a Tory government. And they self-sabotaged.
Yeah.
We literally trolled them into fucking calling it.
We shit-posted them. That's what we did.
Shit posters of the world unite. Yes. Oh, I can't wait for Sargon's salty fucking tears, mate. Just like, yeah. That's how that was going to happen.
He'll upload a video tomorrow and he'll go, what the fuck's happened?
Stuck to his editorial standards.
What the fuck have you done?
If he'd stuck to his editorial standards, he would have seen this coming.
Yeah.
But he didn't. He abandoned his own editorial standards, and I think that's why he dropped the ball on this one.
Because he just kept banging on going, how can Theresa May be fucking this up? And, I've been saying on the YouTube channel for a month and a half, it's because the young and the non-voters are energised by Corbyn. That's what it is. Theresa May's alienated her base, and there's a whole bunch of new blood that's in the Labour Party, and that's why they're going to do better than everyone's expecting. And I've got 500 fucking subscribers.
Coalition builder graphics. Yes. That's what we like to see.
Where's the fucking coalition builder? Is this BBC?
On Sky News, yeah. No, your man earlier on was right. Fucking the BBC have got a terrible bit of coverage compared to the Sky.
No, the BBC are fucking shite. I'm on the website at the moment, and the BBC is still telling me that the Tories have under 300 seats at the moment. They need to get their shit together. I'm fucking...
Do you reckon we should like retrofit Laura Koonsberg to be some sort of like comforter to alligators in some sort of zoo? What is she for anymore?
Wait. Back up. What are you saying? Retrofit Laura Koonsberg for what?
We could use her as like a thing that comforts lonely crocodiles or alligators in the zoo. Something like that, you know. Give her another purpose that isn't what she's doing now, because she's clearly not for that. She isn't supposed to be doing this job that she's got, and that's why the man who looks like an owl keeps laughing at her.
So you're recommending that we stick Laura Koonsberg to go comfort the alligators? Is that
retrofit her, man? She can be done. She can do something else. She can be a doorstop. You know what I mean? Something that doesn't need a lot of fucking skill.
A Halloween witch, maybe?
No, you see, because there are other people who do that better. She could be a Theresa May impersonator.
She could play a young Theresa May in like a biography documentary. That's what she could do. She could. That would be a dream come true, because Koonsberg loves Theresa May. So the thing that she would love the most is to become Theresa May. Although I wonder, actually, now that this election's all said and done and Theresa May's, you know, had her fall from grace, I wonder whether Koonsberg's going to be saying so many nice things about her from now on. It'd be interesting to see.
I think honestly, I think what needs to happen is like, we need to have a fucking root and branch clear out of these organs of government and these bits of our society. Like the fourth estate is no longer fit for purpose, and we need to kill them. Like not, and I mean that metaphorically, okay, GCHQ.
Yeah. Metaphorically, there will be no murders being committed.
Need to be replaced. They're no
longer
doing their job.
Fucking times can calm down.
Is that the sun doesn't represent what people think. The mirror, the mail, a lot of them, they don't know what the fuck's going on. The only people who do are fucking late night YouTubers like you and shit posters like me. And the people in these comment sections are where me and you get our information from.
Exactly.
It's crowdsourced information. The thing is that you're going to get about 10 corrections on a comment thread, and at least half of them are going to be right. And or every time, as long as you don't fight that process, as long as you accept people's corrections, your information always improves. Always. It's always evolving, because other people are evolving it for you. It's a really souped up version of what humans have got as a talent over the other monkeys, and they just don't get it. They just don't get that that's what the internet's for.
I mean, we fucking it's crowd
porn and racism.
It's crowdsourcing information. That's basically what it is. Yeah. It's people collaborating together with ideas, opinions, and information, sharing with each other, and then we're all the wiser. That's the and that's kind of the opposite of what the fucking mainstream legacy media is, because what they're doing is they're not sharing the information with everybody. They're picking very specific strands of information and going, and this is how we want you to think.
Yeah, and then they've got the fucking cheek to point the finger at people like me who are like, yeah, I run an overt pro-proletariat. It even says it on the fucking about section news page. And they're like, oh, this isn't balanced. I'm like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. It's called Nye Bevan News. The tagline says, I think the Tories are vermin. Like, what more fucking information do you need to know where this page is coming from? You can't argue me from bias. At least, unlike you, I am honest about my bias. In fairness to you, I'd say you were fairly balanced. Hence, I was quite amused when I found out that was the reason for your nickname. You were really wanting to fucking neutralize the situation.
That's me. I'm the fucking natural diplomat, me. No, just speaking about the channel for a minute. I always feel very conflicted whether to describe myself, how to describe the content I put out, because on the one hand, I try and be, I'd say I try and be fair. But on the other hand, I make no bones about, you know, I'll rip into fucking Tim Farron half the time. Although that's just turned into a running gag more than anything else now. I find it hard how to describe myself, because being completely unbiased is impossible. So obviously I'm biased, but I guess I'm openly biased. You know, I'm openly biased with an aim to try and be less biased. I don't fucking know. It's a hard pitch.
No. Guess what we've done?
What?
We've won a seat for fucking Wes Streeting.
Where's that?
Sky. Oh man, I'm gonna tear out my own eyeballs.
Hang on a minute. Let me. Fuck you, BBC. You've done nothing for me. I'm going on to Sky News. I'm going to become Murdoch.
I just want to fucking. I hate him. I hate that guy.
Where are the fucking live seats? Are they here? Have you got some infographic for me? Ah, shit.
We need to keep all of these fuckers in line. Do you understand? People like Wes Streeting, we've got to be on them like white on rice. Whenever they fucking start rumbling, you've got to be on them. Record them. Record the phone calls. Get them. Upload them. I'll find them. And I'll give them some traffic. And that's how you keep them in order. Like, that's how we found out about that Tory plant councillor who was pretending his daughter was an NHS nurse when she was really a booper nurse. And he was like, oh, well, my daughter doesn't have to use a fucking food bank. Yeah. I found that guy's number. He's the one who shut down his website. Oh, that's one we can follow, actually. Because if you're a legit financial advisor, you don't shut down your website when a random Welsh guy fucking comes talking after you, do you?
Oh, man. There was something I was going to say and I've fucking forgotten now. That's right, yeah. Do you want to know? I think I've told you this already, but I'll tell you for the benefit of the viewers because they might find it quite funny. When I've described you to like my girlfriend, a couple of people in my family, I've said that you are the Welsh left-wing Malcolm Tucker. That's the way I describe you. You are the fucking enforcer behind the scenes.
I think that's what the whole Scottish left should be like. If
we had an army of Malcolm
Tuckers, we wouldn't lose an election.
I would love it. I would. You know what I would love to see? I would love to see fucking Prime Minister's Questions with a Malcolm Tucker on one side and a Malcolm Tucker on the other, and just watch them fucking go at it.
Bash the shit out of each other. Why is she not fucking resigned?
I mean, she's got to at least wait until all the seats come in before she resigns. I'm sure that's common courtesy for an election.
Her posters have told her, you have completely fucked this up. You need to get your shoes and you need to get the fuck out.
Get your fucking leopard print shoes out of here.
When you were in halls and you were banging those fucking those female students and you're like, could you just get your shoes and leave, please? It needs to be like that. She has to go.
Oh, we British would never. Well, we English would never be so impolite to say that. You know that.
You want to go to fucking Swansea University and see what the standards are there, mate. But they are whores. It's like it's animals. That's what those people are. It's like a phase, and the English come down and they go native. Swear to God, they pick up Swansea Jack accents and everything. Ian Duncan Smith eating shit again.
My favourite thing to see. Yeah, fuck it. I'm sticking on a Sky News feed because I'm done with the BBC fucking being 20 minutes behind all the news. I don't know what the fuck their problem is. Maybe they just don't have the resources anymore. Maybe no one's paying the fucking license fee. I don't know. Sky News live.
He's banging on about how much of the national vote they've got. That's never a good sign.
Oh, here we go.
End up as the largest party. You know, Labour hasn't won the election, but you know, it's not where we wanted to be. It's not where we thought
not where you wanted to be.
There'll have to be a kind of post-mortem about why we got here. But the first thing is we need to stabilise everything and
strong and stable.
Out, you know, and I don't know
we need to make it stable. It's unstable.
For a few hours yet. But then to figure out whether or not we can form a government.
Do you know that's the Sky News presenter? He looks like a fucking Batman bad guy.
We should do it.
Hang on a minute. Let me wait till he appears on screen.
The most important thing is Brexit. The clock is already ticking, so we have to get on with that.
Well, hang on a minute. You are heading at best towards minority government, which by definition is not stable. So it's really a bit delusional, isn't it, to say that you can stabilise the country? And the fact of the matter is that the leader
Duncan
who said
Smith's
she was going
at the moment.
be strong and stable has destabilised the country. As we go into Brexit negotiations, she's thrown away 3 years of a Conservative majority. Can she possibly stay on?
What you need to do is invest in whatever equipment it is you need to put whatever it is, like this Sky News feed on the
actual thing itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I was looking into that. I've got OBS installed on my computer where you can drag all the fucking windows and put them overlaid and shit.
You need to practice doing that.
Yeah. I had a mate of mine who was gonna come round and help me set all the shit up before the stream, but he wasn't able to in the end. Otherwise, I probably would have had a bit more high tech shit happening. But
I'll do a practice one with you if you want when you're learning how to do that shit.
Oh yeah, I mean. I'll get. I mean, what's the next major vote that we want to keep track of that's going to be announced live? Will it be the there's French parliamentary elections, the German ones? I don't fucking know. I've got a bit of time to work.
The one where we decide how many fucking guillotines we build. When do we have that vote? I want to do that one.
Our guillotine referendum. I can't wait.
Would we go French? You know, if we were going to do that, what color? What type of What type of justice would we mete out?
What if we were going to go full French on everyone's arse?
Well, look at this fucking potato cunt here. Like, he's got 2,383 fucking deaths on his head, yeah, and like the most vulnerable people too. It's not even like he went toe to toe with 2,380 odd fucking hardcore soldiers and killed them all to a man. No. Imagine a guy running through the fucking street knifing disabled people. That's Ian Duncan Smith, that is.
And then he knifes all the disabled people, and someone goes, "What have you done, IDS, knifing all those disabled people?" And then he says, "Well, I had to make some tough decisions."
Oh, he said that Saudi Arabia paid me to do it. That's what he fucking says.
No. The Saudi Arabians are a key, important, pivotal ally for us in the Middle East.
Blah. Yeah, that's right. It's right. Fucking Saudi Arabia and their trucks of peace. Jesus.
Yeah. I want stability.
And Tommy Robinson. We got Tommy Robinson to explain to us all that it's just every Muslim. That's what it is.
Yeah. I think we should parachute. What we ought to do is parachute Tommy Robinson with an army of EDL into Saudi Arabia. Let the Wahhabis and the fucking far right fight it out amongst each other.
The third wave feminists as well.
Oh yes, and the third wave feminists. Right, what you want is a three-way fight between the radical Islamists, the far right, and the social justice warriors.
Oh no, you got to send Sargon and the rest of the fucking, all the fucking skeptics that sold out to that fucking app.
Yeah.
That they all turned on harmful opinions for revealing.
Let's make a Hunger Games. We're going to make a Hunger Games with all the fucking political ideologies we're not that big on. We'll just fucking push them all in together.
Yes, wait, I got to answer that question. Yes, the DUP. The DUP are basically Tories with Irish accents. Yeah. They're what the really right-wing English Tories. The DUP are what they wish the Tories would be like. They basically want to bring back internment. They didn't turn the whole of the Republic of Ireland if they could. They take it back. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean that's it. The DUP are actual conservatives.
Yeah. In the classics, in the Peter Hitchens complaining about the Conservative Party side of it.
Yeah. In sort of the old classical technical definition of it. I mean, nowadays, what does conservative stand for? It stands for fucking squeezing the little guy. That's kind of what it's about in modern parlance, I think. I don't know.
That's the whole thing I don't like about the whole Northern Irish conversation. Is let's talk bluntly, right? There's always been cross-pollination between the people on those two bits of these two islands. And those Scots were placed there for a reason. They were placed there for the same reason fucking Pakistan was created. For the same reason fucking Palestine was divvied up the way it was. Is because, when we leave a place, we draw the maps in such a way that the people who we leave behind will be too busy dealing with their own domestic problems to make any demands of us.
Sorry, I'm very sorry. I completely fucking zoned out there.
What time is it? I'm watching Jeremy Corbyn make a speech. Yeah, Corbyn's speaking fine.
There's a dude with a fucking silly hat behind him as well.
Yeah. The jazz man's testifying, man. Turn him on.
They've cut away from Corbyn. They're onto some fucking Tory bloke behind the podium now. What's going on? Am I on a different feed? No, are you on Sky? I'm on Sky.
Raven Looney was applauding him.
Yeah, I saw that, and then they've cut away. So I don't know what you're saying. I'll watch it all back in a bit. I'll be doing a big old recap video of this fucking entire evening once I wake up, covering everything that's gone on. Fucking hell, that's a lot of comments.
Listen to this.
Yeah.
Fucking Nicola Sturgeon. This is a disaster for Theresa May. Yeah, it's a fucking disaster for you too, Scott.
You've lost half your fucking seats to Sturgeon. This is exactly what I'm saying. The fucking spin is ridiculous. The fucking Sturgeon having the gall to say this is a disaster for Theresa May. You've lost half your MPs. What are you on about?
And another thing about her is like she comes across like a rogue Thunderbirds puppet, you know? It's just like it's just there, like bouncing.
Oh my god, I'm fucking stealing that one. I'm using that in the next video. I'm like a rogue Thunderbirds puppet, where one of the strings on one of her shoulders is broke, so she always does that kind of head jostling thing whenever she talks.
Don't worry, Grimble, mate. It's gonna be fine. We've battered the Tories. That's.
Yeah.
We've battered the Tories. We've shown up fucking Corbyn, and you know what this means is, from this point forward, the left, the youth, the Momentum movement, who I have had some criticism of with their lack of organisation, but by God, did they fucking pull it out for this election? Fair play to them, just like they did in Stoke, in fact. Those bits of the party, as long as you stay organised, and like I say, stand for election, go stand as councillors, stand for internal party elections, stand for elections in your universities. You keep on doing that stuff, this is just going to keep growing. And if you start recruiting people as well, and if we, like I was saying earlier about language, if we start saying what we're going to do for people without calling them fucking racists and knuckle draggers for voting to leave the European Union, we are really going to start getting somewhere. Oh, Barry Gardner, I would turn for Barry Gardner.
Is my boy Barry on?
They didn't feel
Barry!
that their need was.
My name's Barry Gardner, and I'm going to smash Tories and win elections.
I mean, are you going to start having conversations with other parties?
Hold on, I need to hear what Basil's got to say.
Government to challenge Theresa May?
Look, we've been very clear all along that we're not in the business of forming coalitions.
Even if that means Theresa May will still be Prime Minister?
Well, as you've pointed out, it looks as if she will be the largest single party, therefore she will remain the Prime Minister until she chooses to resign, or her party chooses for her to resign. And the situation would then be that they could either form a minority government or indeed go into coalition, as Ian Duncan Smith suggested, with the DUP. Therefore, we're not in the driving seat on this.
Laura Kunsberg will fuck
we
herself.
want to talk to people.
Oh, she doesn't know shit from dirty cake.
Mitigate the impact of this government. Their policies, where they were clear, were devastating to people, and where they were less than clear, they were dishonest, really.
I'll tell you, right, you know I was saying earlier, no, it wasn't earlier, in a private conversation. Do you remember when I said this policing thing was a spear tip? I also made that spear tip reference with regards to the flooding into Parliament, what the youth have done today.
Yeah.
But yeah, Barry Gardner was the one who put the final hammer blow on that spear tip that got sunk in her chest when he did that really good rant about how pissed off he was with the police cuts. He was the one who put the cherry on the cake on that one.
Oh yeah, he's played himself pretty well in this election, I'd say. I mean, he's got me to notice him. I'll put it that way. I hadn't really clocked Barry Gardner before this election. I was aware of him. I'd seen him in a few interviews, but he wasn't the Bazzer I know and love today. You know.
We put him on iBev News quite early on because he was one of the few neutral MPs, because he wasn't actually one of the Corbynistas. One of the few neutral MPs who was like, look, this is the leader. You don't own the party. Stop fucking having coups. You know, so that's how he made his crust. You know, credit wise.
Yeah, by not being a distinct Blairite or a Corbynite, but just kind of going, well, I'm a Labour politician. He's the Labour leader. I'm going to be in the cabinet because it's not going to help anyone for me to resign. Yeah.
Right. So 21 to go. Labour have got 256. See, now, how many of these are going to go Labour on your list?
Which ones have we got left to do? You give me a seat, and I'll tell you what I had it as on my list.
I don't know. Have you got these 21 that are left? All right, Newcastle under Lyme, Dudley North.
Oh, whoa, one at a time, Okay. Newcastle under Lyme, I had as a Labour hold.
Dudley North, Southampton, Pest.
Dudley, one sec.
It says Test. Should say West, surely.
Dudley North, I had as a Labour hold as well.
Ashfield.
How do you spell that?
Ashfield.
Oh, Ashfield, right? Okay. Ashfield, Labour hold. I'm not saying this is correct, by the way, but this is what I thought it'd be at least. Yep.
260. Like, this is insane.
Yeah. Where are we up to? 260 now, or?
No. With those four holes that I just read out to you, we would be up to 260.
I mean, Christ, where was Let me bring up what my prediction was again. I'd said Labour on 261.
Sorry, the comments on the Sky, you know, compared to the level of debate amongst your followers, these people are mentally subnormal.
Are they fucking savages? What are they saying on the Skype comment thread?
Oh, they're just talking about all sorts of shit. Just random conspiracy nonsense. It's a fucking election. Calm down. I'm talking about the Sky people, not your people.
No, I know that.
I'm doing a compare and contrast on the standard of the comments, and apparently Sky attracts a lot of idiots, plus me.
I can't see the Sky feed on the version I've got up. Oh, chat is disabled for this. Like, that'll be why I'm watching it on the fucking official Sky News rather than the shadow stream.
Yeah, I'm on. Oh, this is President Trump.
Oh, hang on a minute then. Let me open up the shadow stream and I'll Sky News fuck. Can you drop me a link to this on Facebook? I'm having trouble finding it.
Yeah. What the fuck? What am I leading with tomorrow morning then? What time is it? Yeah, I got a post to put up at 7:07. Any ideas other than?
I mean, I think it would be good to run off of the not strong and stable angle, especially if it's a hung parliament. I think that's the best thing.
Much strong, such stable.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing to beat May over the head with, because strong and stable, strong and stable, strong and stable. We've got a hung parliament. Chaos. Thanks, May. That's the most straightforward way that I'd try and whack her with, to be honest. But I don't know. Or you
backfire at all.
Right, here we are, live United Kingdom Sky. Let's have a look at the fucking thread here then. I'll copy this into the chat for the guys watching here.
The stuff they're coming out with is beyond. Some of the people on there are insane.
Right, there we go. Let's see what the fucking Sky people are saying then. Wow, okay. There's
There you go.
It's all over the fucking place, this is. Wow. Sick of ads, get an ad blocker. Churchill was a druid indebted to the Jews.
There you go. Now you know, mate. Now you know.
Now I never knew. I never took Churchill for a druid myself, but
Ding, ding, ding.
We're through the looking glass, people.
That guy, the Sky reporter, he looks like fucking, that 1950s Batman show, when they draw Batman's eyebrows on the mask. That's his face, that is.
Let me have a look.
Oh, okay.
Oh my, yes, he looks like a fat Adam West. That's what he looks like.
Yeah. Adam West.
Oh, it's Yvette Cooper. Hang on a minute.
Yvette Cooper took, her leadership campaign in 2015.
Yep.
£75,000 funded by Tory donor Peter Hearn. There you go. There's a fun fact for you guys. Reminder of that if she pisses you off. Just ring her up and tell her and that you're going to post it on Facebook. And she shuts up. Honest, I've done that to her. But I did send her a screenshot about traffic compared to the BBC.
And she was.
It shuts them the fuck up, I'll tell you that.
What I can't get over is the fact that fucking Cooper and Balls are married to each other.
I know. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that coupling?
Can you imagine waking up next to those balls?
No. What an unholy coupling, eh?
I think that they've got secret plans to become like a fucking House of Cards power couple, to be honest. I think that after Ed Balls had his fall from grace, he went on Strictly Come Dancing to fucking rehabilitate his public image. Yvette Cooper's clearly got plans for the leadership at some point down the road, but she's going to have to fight off fucking Chuka Umunna and Clive Lewis for it. I think they're planning a comeback at some point. I think they've never stopped planning it, to be honest.
I think Yvette Cooper doesn't actually exist. I think it's Tony Blair's transsexual alter ego.
Are you saying that we might have misgendered Tony Blair and he is in fact Yvette Cooper?
No, we haven't misgendered him. He chooses to be Tony at sometimes and he chooses to be Yvette at other times. Can't you accept that? Otherwise him.
I'm just a shitlord who doesn't check my privilege. I'm sorry.
Do you know what? I am sick of white men like you.
You're a fucking white male.
Should I put the Patrick Stewart thing up? How it feels waking up every morning in 2017? Damage report. No, actually, this is good news for us. Should we have a go at Jess Phillips? Oh, did Jess Phillips keep her seat? Have a look at that.
Oh, Jess Phillips on. Oh, Jess Phillips has kept her seat.
To us.
Is it bad that even though she's Labour, I was really secretly hoping that if any Labour MP was going to lose their seat, it would be Jess Phillips, perhaps even more than John Woodcock.
My entire spin was going to be, hey, this is if we got smashed down to 50 seats. Hey, this is good news. We got rid of a bunch of cunts who are doing us no good whatsoever. So that's why we've really got us to keep on top of these fuckers, is because they need to be reminded every minute of every hour of every day of every week of every month of every year that the reason they have their seats is because of us. They would do a wipeout, and the reason they didn't get one is because of us. And they need to be fucking reminded that on rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. Every single person that's done anything to help the Labour Party, despite the fucking attacks we got last summer, needs to do that and say to them, don't you ever fucking attack us like that again, because not only did we withstand that attack, we just fucking brought down a Tory government and got rid of the second Tory Prime Minister. And if you fuck us over one more time, we're going to get rid of every single last rat one of you and replace you with a red. Understood? And they'll nod, and then we'll move on together and we'll never reference it again.
I'm just looking at, I've got it on mute at the moment, but I'm just watching Yvette Cooper talk, and I'm just seeing all these facial expressions just flash across her face for a moment, and then they're done.
They are fucking shit scared.
Oh, man.
I'm telling you.
So, really, it's a bad day for the Tories. It's a bad day for the SNP. It's a bad day for UKIP. It's a bad day for the Greens. It's a good day for the Lib Dems, although Clegg lost his seat and Farron nearly got knocked out. It's a good day for Labour, but not the Blairites who have to swallow their own words saying that Corbyn's unelectable, because you know what, he came hell of a lot closer than Miliband and Brown managed to. I'd say, all in all, we may not make it into government, but on balance, we've done rather good.
Total over, what's the word? We completely over exceeded everything. Every target, he smashed it. We will hear no more talk of any sort of rubbish with regards to unelectability, trots, the hard left. These buzzwords are now out of the conversation, and anyone who uses them should be come down on like a ton of fucking bricks going, are you still pulling that shit?
Yeah, because if
we will fucking we will withhold the help that you saw at that last election.
Because
and we should also remember that we did get the advantage of a very large anti-Tory Remain boost.
Oh yeah, but I was just about to say, if they try and label us as far left and trots and all the rest of it, we can turn around and go, okay, so you're telling me that 40% of the country are hard left trots now. because they were willing to feasibly imagine a Labour government underneath Jeremy Corbyn on that policy platform. Is that really what you're saying, that 40% of the country are terrorist sympathisers? 40%
Bear
of the
in mind,
country
these are the same fucking
IRA.
morons who said 48% of the, 52% of the country were fucking racist.
Yeah.
So yes, I do think like they need to be told. You've got to understand, people need to start getting proactive with this shit and saying, yeah, just so you know, behave this week. Don't come out with any stupid fucking statements. You know,
don't just say any shit. Yeah.
None of your noise like last time. Do you understand? Because we won't be putting up with it. Up with which we will not put any longer. Because otherwise they'll just take the piss again. And they will always try and retake the piss, and we will always have to remind them, like, no. Those days are done. You don't do that shit anymore.
No.
Shall I put a Tony Benn meme up?
For sure.
Questions.
For sure. I think Tony.
Reassure the fucking Brexiteers.
I think Tony would be proud.
Yes, that's exactly what I was saying. Tony Benn would be very proud of you all. Because lots of people have messaged me going, "You fucking what? This is amazing!" Because someone sent me the Laura Koonsberg clip and was like, "She's literally talking about what you posted there."
Yeah.
And I was like, it's very important that if anyone ever says stuff like that, go, no, this was everyone. Because that's what other movements do, and they always fail when that happens. Everyone does this. This has got nothing to do with individuals. This is to do with a shit ton of people coming together and going, yeah, we're not putting up with this crap anymore. You can go fuck yourselves. We're putting someone in who's going to do 5 or 6 things that we agree with out of the 10 things that he's going to do. And there's enough of us that agree with 5 or 6 of his 10 things that we want him. So you can fuck off.
Yeah.
And I don't care what the Sun says.
Oh, fuck the Sun.
Oh, the failure of the Sun. The failure of the Sun. There's a YouTube video.
Did you see all the shit today being posted online of people fucking taking Daily Mails and Suns and fucking setting fire to them, putting them in bins, throwing them in rivers, putting fucking copies of the Mirror over them and all the rest of it? I was in the co-op around the corner from where I live, and I even grabbed a couple of the Mirrors and just stuck them over the Mail and the Sun on the way out. Just for a bit of fun.
People aren't seeing that shit today.
Oh man! But what the headline's going to be? The fucking salt. The salt's coming from the right. Today, fucking Mummy May couldn't deliver the majority that they wanted. Oh dear. Oh, hiding behind the milk. Grimble's just said. Yep, I saw that one as well. That was fucking funny.
Shall I say Tony Benn would be so proud of all of you?
Yeah. Tony Benn would be proud. See if we can see if you can sort of rope it into sort of saying that there's more of a call for a left-wing Brexit or something, because I think that we want to say we are behind Brexit, we accept the result. Obviously, we want Brexit to happen.
A left-wing Brexit is the only one that the people that can serve the people.
Yeah,
that serves the majority.
Because Theresa May has lost her mandate. She's the largest party, but she ain't going to be a majority. She's lost her mandate to lead us into the Brexit negotiations.
I just leave it as Tony Benn would be so proud of you all.
Yeah. Oh man. Someone's just commented and said 64% youth turnout. I think that could be overall, but that's impressive if that's the case. 64% of the youths turning out. I think that's at least 10 to 15% up on what it usually is.
What's that in numbers? Raw numbers?
Oh, I couldn't tell you because I'd have to know how many young people there are first.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know.
It depends what you count as young people. Like I count young people as anyone under 28.
Well, the thing is, the numbers are going to vary. Like the 18 to 24s are going to be turning out in different numbers to the 25 to 40s and all the rest of it. So I can look that up tomorrow. There'll probably be some stats on it somewhere.
Like I told you, there is a big Remain boost. And I don't think you were fully sold on that idea when I floated it with you. Was it yesterday or today? Or was it talking to someone else?
Well, you told me. I don't know if you told someone else as well when you said there'd be a big Remain boost. I suppose, I guess the Remain boost came sort of hand in hand obviously the Greens moving to Labour and the Lib Dems moving to Labour, because they were both predominantly Remain. So there's overlap there, obviously, you know.
Yeah.
People are asking, are we going to have another general election? What's the government
pretty
going to look
soon,
like?
I'd say.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I could see
the problem with this shit is, like, it's really unstable. It is it is completely the opposite of strong. It is the total opposite of stable.
Yeah.
This shouldn't have been happening. She shouldn't have done this. It was political opportunism of the absolute worst sort. But then so was look, as much as I wanted to leave the EU, that should have been done by parliamentary procedures. A government should have been elected on the mandate of leaving the European Union, and should have won enough MPs to do that and voted through Parliament and all that shit. We are not a plebiscite democracy. We have no tradition of it. It's not in our democratic tradition. So ever since we did that back in the day, with the single market, and then again with this one, it's when you do stuff like that to a non-plebiscite democratic tradition, naturally you destabilize it. You know, an American Republican style system, like they have big votes. You know, it's what they do. We don't. We have a constitutional monarchy with first past the post constituency system, and referenda are anathema to it. And we are dealing with the shock waves through our constitution, and we will be doing so for a very long time, because it should never have happened.
Yeah.
If we were to leave the European Union, we should have done it by parliamentary procedure.
And
this is what happens when you abandon your democratic traditions at your peril. At your peril, because there is what's the word? A gestalt. There's like an epiphenomenon that comes up from a people and a country and everybody who's there, and what they've done and what their history is and what their tradition is, and it's just not our way. And I guess within 2-3 years, because what's going to happen now? At some point, Theresa May is going to go. She's a lame duck. The Tories are shocked. I mean, if they got rid of Thatcher, they're going to get. Sorry, what?
Hold on. There's one very important point we're forgetting here as well.
What's that?
By-elections. The Tories are going to bleed MPs in any by-election that's marginally marginal after this election.
Because all of us are going to fucking turn up and volunteer down.
Yeah, everyone's going to fucking pile in on whoever's in second place behind the Tories, because everyone's got an interest, the Lib Dems, Labour, whoever it is, they've all got an interest in giving the Tories a kicking now. So any fucking by-election that they have that isn't in a relatively safe seat, that's just going to see the amount of MPs they got ticking down.
Yeah. Here's the Thatcher analogy that everybody missed. Corbyn's Thatcher. Corbyn's the upstart who's unlikely to have taken over his party up against a minority administration that's clinging on to power.
Yes, and
exactly what Thatcher faced with Jim Callaghan in the late 70s.
And Thatcher brought on a paradigm shift, and I think Corbyn's doing the same. I think Corbyn's reintroducing.
What's going to happen? It's going to be like 1945 or again, sort of like the New Deal, where we have a new. Either we reinstitute previous principles and we readdress them and reaffirm them, or we come up with some new ones. I think we need to come up with some new ones. I think if we reaffirm the old, in certain circumstances, we're going to fail, and we're doomed to fail. So, like, our unemployment queue needs to be moulded into our old age problem, and what we need to do is we need to create a system whereby it's sort of like national service. When you're employed, you just get signed up for a national carer service, and you get assigned some old people who are near your house, and you get paid triple dough. So you go around and cook them food and eat with them and shit, and move their plant pots around or whatever the fuck it is they need, because they can't, and because they don't have money or whatever. Things like that are what needs to happen, and that's going to require some new thinking. Because without that, honest to God, it's a shit show. Did you ever watch the show Utopia?
Utopia. It rings a bell. It rings a bell. I probably didn't watch it, but I think I heard of it at the time it was on.
Give it a full watch. Both series. It's a very great shame it got cancelled. There's a scene on that where they talk about human population growth. We are going to need to come up with some systems that deals with our demographics. and it's going to need to involve reaffirming the bond between the old and the young. Because if we don't, our society is literally going to fracture along generational lines. And that, whenever that happens, it's always been violent throughout human history. Always violent. Brutal. So we've got to avoid that. We've got to come up with something that stops that from happening, where the old are turning on the young. The Tories tried to do that during this election, by the way. Yeah. The Tories tried to turn the young on the old. And the reason they tried to do it is because the thing behind Corbyn is a movement which is made up of students and young people, and people, say, under 35, and then old heads from the old fucking miners' strike days. And so what the Tories literally came up with policies that were designed to try and separate those two groups of people.
Divide and conquer.
Even though that would inflict damage on the whole country, they did it just because they don't want those two groups to unite against.
Yeah. It's like it. This is what I've been saying. I've said it. Actually, I haven't said it too many times on the channel. There's a video I made about a month or two ago. But I think that all the right and the left need to do is just put aside their differences and unite for a short amount of time to kick out the fucking vested interest corporate globalist centre. And then we can get back to fighting our age-old struggle of should there be high taxes or low taxes. You know, if we just fucking team up on them for once, just for a couple of years, we could get them out, and then we could get back to some proper politics again.
Well, that's what Brexit was. That's what they didn't understand about Brexit in the media, because they were all Remainers. They thought everyone who voted Brexit was a knuckle-dragging racist. They didn't understand that. Well, there's me, there's you, there's Comrade K, there's Lord, and we all met by chance, right, online, and none of us are none of us did a Sargon. We were Brexit like Sargon, but we didn't do a Sargon and back the fucking Tories.
No.
Well, I saw Corbyn for what it was the whole time. He campaigned for Remain in the same way that he will campaign for Trident.
7.5 out of 10.
As leader of the party, I've got to do this because it's party policy, but I think it's fucking horrendous.
Yeah, 7.5 out of 10. It's like when he was on the last leg. They said, "Oh, how in favour of the EU are you?" He said 7.5. They used it as a stick to hit him with for a long while. But actually, seeing as we voted to leave, at least he was a little bit more forthcoming and going, "Oh, well, there are some things about the EU I'm not a fan of." Unlike
I think he missed a trick.
Hold on. Let me just say this quick. Unlike fucking Tim Farron, now we know what Tim Farron's stance on Brexit and the rest of it is, and he was on that Andrew Neil interview the other week trying to put across the idea that he, fucking Tim Farron, is a Eurosceptic.
Yeah.
Go on, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, I think he missed a trick by not being more pro-Brexit. Because it would have sent a more strong message back, which was quite a strong message that did go out. Here's when I knew everything was going to be okay. I was in a pub tonight, and the guy was like, "Oh, I voted Plaid because I can't vote for fucking Corbyn." And he's like, "But all my boys they voted UKIP. They don't understand how the system works." I was like, "Oh, if that happens all over, if enough people do that, where they just either vote UKIP or just go back to the old habit of voting for what they know."
Yeah,
this is going to be a surprisingly good result.
I mean, how many more seats have we got left to come in? Does anyone know?
Oh wait, I'm on this.
We're on
the Sky one's broken.
Turnout, by the way, at the moment is 68.7%. Now, I'd said at the beginning of the night I thought it was going to be closer to 70 than 65. So we've got 19 more seats left to declare. That's how many we got.
Can you give me stats for the Tony Benn post that I'm putting up, please? Like all of those stats, like what the turnout was.
Well, the turnout's not final, but we can say the turnout is up from the previous election by at least a couple of percent. That's for sure. You can say that Labour have managed to get over 40% of the vote, which is their highest vote share in. You might have to look up the numbers, but it's at least a couple of elections, maybe more.
40% of the vote.
You'll like this one. This is the first general election where Labour has gained MPs since 1997. Vonan V in the comments has said You could tell he was for Brexit, was probably only doing to keep his party from stabbing him in the back. I'm sort of I'm inclined to think that. I know that Corbyn's a Eurosceptic. I know that much for sure. I was disappointed that he didn't come out for Brexit, but I totally understand that because he's got a parliamentary party behind him of about 4/5 absolute consolidated Blairite Remainers, there was no way in hell he was going to get away with it. The problem is that after the Brexit vote, they stuck the knife in anyway. So ultimately, he should have came out for Brexit because he was going to get fucked by his own MPs one way or the other.
So what are we going to do with them then?
What are we going to do with the Blairites?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, actually. I'd like to ask all your page followers, what do they think we should do with that disloyal rump of 172? I think they need discipline. I think they need to be kept in line on either a daily or weekly basis by phone call that's being recorded, so that if they make any fuck ups, you can use it against them.
Well, that's your side of things
social
more than
media,
mine,
all that shit.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing, what I'd say is the Chukwuramunas of the world, you know, the ones who have finally seen the light and after such a long time have finally gone, oh, you know what, we get it. Jez is popular with the people. He could lead us to some electoral success. What I would say, my stance on it would be, fantastic. I'm really pleased that you've changed your mind. I hope that your mind continues to stay changed and you don't go back on it, because if you do go back on it, then I don't think you have a place in this party anymore, because it's quite clear that the party has moved in a different direction from where you were before. This is no longer a centrist neoliberal party. This is a left-wing party of public spending and populism. That is what I would say. So I'd say, all right, to the newly converted Blairites.
Oh, I'd go more centrist than that.
Go on then, go on.
I'd say, I'd call a truce, and I'd say, fine, we'll give you every support you need in taking the south east from the Tories, but you leave overarching policy and messaging to us, because under your watch, you have pissed in the faces of the heartlands for too long, and you simply cannot be trusted to be on national TV and stuff anymore, because you just don't toe the line and you say things SJW London-based nonsense, which pisses people off. Whereas everybody calls Jeremy Corbyn like this Islington fuck. Jeremy Corbyn can speak to anyone in pretty much any part of Great Britain.
There's one point I'd make.
He knows how. He's got the knack.
There's one point I'd make. Is it not better though to have them inside the tent pissing out than outside the tent pissing in, as that old adage goes?
We'll say we'll give you every fucking help you need in winning back the south east, and whatever messaging needs to happen with that. Obviously stay in the party. I think forgive and forget, where they are willing to just go, all right, fair enough, you won, fair enough. Sort of like the left did with the Blairites in the 90s. You know, there needs to be a fucking thing now where, you know, that clause 4 moment.
Yeah.
This is Jeremy Corbyn's clause 4 moment.
Yeah.
He literally just he has just cucked so many people in one election.
He has.
It's fucking unreal.
That's another thing. Like I keep saying, what we ought to be doing is claiming fucking territory from the right, taking it for ourselves, and the word cuck is another great way to start as well.
Oh yeah, we need to steal their language.
It's a beautiful word. I love that word. Tim Farron is a cuck, but
that whole remains. That whole vote for me, get a Remain vote. One, the British, again, predicated on British electorate being stupid and thick and not understanding their own system. They know if they vote for Tim Farron in anything other than a fucking Lib Dem second place race is a fucking wasted vote. And guess what? They didn't do it, Tim, you fucking moron. And the insults, the fact that Lib Dems, right, I had a full moratorium on attacks on any other parties, even the poxy nationalists, for the entirety of the election, because I targeted the fucking Tories. That's why we won. We picked our target, all of us, everyone on the left. Momentum up their game. I'll give them credit during the fucking election. They actually got some people with working class voices on their videos for once, which was good. And they made some videos in places other than fucking London for once, which was also good. You know, because they were looking a bit Lib Dem for a while. They've realised that there's a lot of talent in the Momentum movement and it's spread out throughout the country, and they need to utilise it all, not focus on the centre. So that's good. It was a banging campaign. It wasn't just one like, I know that I posted one thing about cop cuts, which went viral.
Yeah.
And it got picked up by LBC, reposted by them, and then the meme of the figures that I had, which I'd been repeating like a mantra for the last 9 months literally on a schedule, started coming out in the media. I saw that, which I was pretty impressed with, but there were so many things, so many pages on the left got what I like to call weaponized information, which is just something that looks really fucking bad for the other side and just got it to go viral. And in the case of police cuts, the first thing I did when I uploaded that clip of that copper, which if your followers want to look at, it's on the Night Bevan News Facebook page.
I've seen it. I've seen it. The one where he's chatting to Theresa May at that peace conference.
Her mom and everything all throughout, right?
Oh yeah.
The first place I shared that was into every Brexit group, every UKIP group, every British politics group, all the patriotic groups, football banter groups, basically people who aren't, left-leaning by necessarily. I put it through them, and I said, Theresa May is a fucking traitor. And I got every editor who volunteers for the page to do the same, and we spread it right across Facebook. And it was on that day where the rest of the fucking media and the campaign was taking a day off, and I was like, no, I'm really sorry. Little girls have got fucking nails in their heads because, we've got a government that thinks during the rise of ISIS, cutting the security budget is a smart idea, and cutting the rest of the public services is a smart idea. Let me tell you where the cops are. Half the time, they're filling in the gaps because of the holes in the rest of the fucking welfare system and the NHS. So they're filling in those holes. And when they're doing that with half their time, they're not fucking catching nutter fucking terrorists. So, like, that's just that. You don't get away with that. In the modern era, in the olden days, like in 1990s, 1980s, the parties would have done a deal and the government would have been able to wangle it with the media messaging. Well, they got away with Aubrey, for fuck's sake. Yeah. They got away with Hillsborough, for fuck's sake. So they could be in charge of the messages before. Tony Blair got away with Iraq, for fuck's sake.
But with the internet, it's a whole different story now.
Does not fucking happen anymore, and it's because it's like Game of Thrones. We are the watchers on the walls, mate. Whilst you're busy fucking talking in a studio on a TV show that maybe 20,000 people are going to watch live on TV, we are on fucking social media speaking to about 5 million people a week, and we're backlit on the palm of their hand as they're fucking completely immersed as they look on their phone. It's a completely different experience to having a fucking idiot box in the corner that you ignore half the time. And that was their weapon, and this was ours, and we just beat the fuck out of them. And the next fucking time the election comes around, we're going to beat the fuck out of them some more, and we're going to keep doing it until we start electing some people who are actually going to serve the purposes of the people of this country instead of absolute cunts in London.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of your generation. Your generation did this. Don't let anyone tell you anything else. You all turned out fucking rank and file. And you don't ever let them forget it, because they're going to try and say it was this and it was that and it was the other. There was a Remain boost that happened. The left held. That happened. The old Labour vote definitely held to a certain extent.
But it was the youth turnout at the end of the
young people turned out too.
And this is what I've been saying all along. The youth turnout was what was going to do it, and that's produced the result we had. A couple more percent, it might have pushed us over, but you know what? We've denied the Tories a majority, and that is fundamental. That is.
It's been declared. They've declared it.
Declared it hung parliament.
No party can reach the winning line. Fuck you, Theresa. You're out, mate. And Tony Benn says no.
That is not a very strong or stable election result.
Fair play to you. What I think happened was your generation watched what the Hillary Clinton people did to the Bernie Sanders kids, and they were like, fuck that. That's what I think happened.
Well, that's what I saw, at least, yeah. We've got a couple more. I think Richmond Park is still to come in, which is interesting, because that's the Lib Dem Tory marginal that the Libs won off of Zach Goldsmith earlier in the year or last year.
Yeah, well, luckily for them, a bunch of Reds will have turned out for that fucking Liberal.
Yeah. Oh no, I see that happening. They will have rallied behind the Lib Dems on that one because they don't want to see the Tories in. So one. Oh no, it won't be any change. It'll add one more to the Lib Dem tally they've got now, but it won't count as a gain because they had it already. So if the Lib Dems win that, which I think they probably will, then that'll put the Lib Dems onto 13 seats for this election. And I think they'll probably stay there because there ain't that many left to come in now. I don't know. Are there any in the southwest?
To be really proud of that prediction, man. That was some fucking guesswork.
Mate, I
went quiet
don't know
for
what
2 days, and I was like, "Oh, where's he gone? What's happened?"
Yeah, I spent 2 days fucking hunched over in front of the computer with fucking Wikipedia spreadsheets open of the previous results from all of the different constituencies and bloody all sorts of shit. And
I thought I was going to be able to resign today. There's just going to be more work now.
And you've revealed yourself in public now as well. Well,
yeah.
Well,
yeah,
not your name,
like,
but there we are, yeah.
This will be in your fucking old... What will happen now is like all of these bots, they'll be able to say like, "Oh, I saw that stream way back when," but this, you'll make it, and like these streams, no one will listen to them. What do they? Isn't that how it works on YouTube?
This is I mean, I would like to think that at some point in the future, like once the channel's grown to whatever audience reach it's going to be, this will be sort of a well-remembered stream. There'll be a group of about 200 people.
I predict the Labour Party will form the next government is on 6,597 views. When I first started looking at your channel, you were getting like 200-300 views per video.
Yeah.
Then you went up to around the four-figure mark, and now you've consistently gone up to 2,000 plus. So, you know, it's very definite positive growth. And the good thing is like, the left has needed this from someone on YouTube for a long time. You know, somebody who's you took the time to. I've seen on the comment threads like you will answer people of all political stripes. Like I know you support Corbyn and I know you're pro Brexit, so you're like a fucking unicorn on that side. But the other side of the debate, like the Sargons and that, like I think he did notice that fucking Keck video you made because I fucking spammed it on his Facebook page and that.
I saw him like it on Facebook, didn't he? I remember spotting
that. Yeah. So like, for that not to get answered, and especially if it still doesn't get answered, you know, that's, to me, that's telling. That's someone intentionally ignoring something. And I'm skeptical when my skeptics are so sketchy.
I'm going to address quickly a couple of comments people have stuck on here. Michael Clark 09, who's a mate of mine in the real world, he said the dream's dead. The dream.
What do you mean the dream is dead? How the fuck can you say that?
Well, I think he's just jumped in. He hasn't been here all evening, so I think he's.
Yeah, no, man. This is a fucking brilliant result. This is the best thing fucking happened in ages. This is better than both leadership wins in the Labour leadership combined.
I mean, don't get me wrong, this is not a Labour majority, but this is the best result that Labour has had in a long old while.
Yeah. Is he politically savvy? Like, does he know about recent history? Like, tell him to look up the period where Thatcher took down Jim Callaghan, pretend Corbyn's Thatcher.
He knows his stuff. He knows his stuff very well. Yeah. I think he's just surprised because he went to bed probably hoping that Labour might snag it. So it's a bit of a disappointment to wake up when he hasn't. But no, we've done to deny the Conservatives a majority is a real thing to have managed, because there's going to be another election probably within the next year or so. I could see.
Do you know what I love about you guys is like your standards are that high that you're like, what the fuck? You mean they've got more seats than us? Oh, we're just gonna have to fucking win more seats then, aren't we? Like.
Yeah,
that's good because we're going to need that. In fact, yeah, I love the optics of that this isn't good enough and that we could have done better. But mate, I've got to tell your friend there, like when this election snapped, right? I knew this. I'm a parliamentary correspondent, basically, a self-appointed. And what I do is I watch Parliament all day, the UK feed live on the website. I find the best clips from there and I put them up on my bed and news. And I try to make it so that there's like a left-leaning parliamentary feed, because that's important, because Parliament is literally where the law is happening in real time.
Yeah.
I've completely forgotten my fucking point because my brain isn't working. Wait. Oh, yeah. I was preparing. I knew this election was coming in December. When they closed Parliament, what they do at the end is the two leaders of the House, the leader and the shadow leader, they have a debate where they talk about the next Parliament's business. And the government only assigned business up until February, which obviously means they're not planning to do much after February.
Oh, he's cut out again. Shit. I was enjoying that as well. He'll be back. He always is. That phone's probably died and he's got to put it back on charge again. Right, so how are we looking, folks? It looks like, has the result for Richmond come in yet? Can anyone tell me if that's in? I think the Lib Dems will have held Richmond. Oh, they got Twickenham. Cable got his seat back. I thought that would be happening. I've got to say, admittedly, the Lib Dems have done far better today than I thought they would. I thought they'd lose seats overall. In fact, they've gained seats overall, so good on them. Cable got his seat back. I did think that specifically would happen. I expect Richmond Park is also going to go orange, but I couldn't say for sure. Happened about 3 a.m. So it's not, Christ. Wait, are you saying happened 3 a.m. with Cable or Richmond? You're probably saying Cable. The Lib Dems lived to die another day. They did. They did. You know what? As much as I shit on Farron, he's delivered them electoral success. I know it's a bit of a stretch maybe to call 12 MPs or whatever it is electoral success, but he's improved the number that they have. The same way that Corbyn's done for Labour as well. So that deserves credit. They've done. He's done well to manage that at least. Yeah, Richmond Park is on the wire, I think. I'd really like Zach Goldsmith not to win it back. I'm not especially pro-Lib Dem myself, as you guys know, but I would really like to see Zach Goldsmith lose again in Richmond Park. The Young Turks is boring. You know what? I used to like the Young Turks, and it still got some interesting analysis. But I was watching it through the US presidential campaign, and they were backing Bernie, and obviously I was quite happy with that. But then they started shilling for Hill. They started to shill for Hill. The fucking host, I forget his name. He started to shill for Hill. He was like, "Oh, listen, guys, listen. You know, we've got to back Hillary now. That's the only thing that you can do." Which I wasn't a big fan of. They were doing the fucking tabloid gutter shit at Trump. As I say, I'm no fan of Trump, but I also dislike misinformation. So they were playing for the whole sort of the fucking next Hitler kind of shit as well. So that's him. That's him. Yeah, Senk or Jank. I forget how to pronounce it. So yeah, they do some decent shit. They were covering some of the WikiLeaks and some of the Clinton emails on the TYT Politics channel. I didn't mind that stuff. I thought that was some pretty good journalism, to be quite honest with you. But TYT as a whole, I don't particularly hold them on a pedestal or anything. I don't think they're amazing or anything along those lines. Jimmy Dore's better. Yeah, I agree. I think Jimmy Dore outshines most of the people on TYT. I'll tell you what, we've spent a fair bit of the stream shitting on Sargon today as well, but actually, you should go check it out. There's a very funny Sargon TYT parody video. If you search like Sargon of Akkad TYT, it'll be one of the first couple that come up on YouTube. That's worth checking out. It's pretty funny. It's sort of like they've got him on interviewing him, and they fucking get triggered out of fucking nowhere. I won't say any more about it, but it's pretty good. What else is going on here? Right, Captain Wales is off. He's crashed, he says to me. I'm going to stick it out for a bit longer. I want to see these final few seats come in. The shop's open in less than an hour, so I can go and get myself a nice can of fucking Monster or Relentless or something. TYT is left-wing tabloid. It is. You're absolutely right. It's I don't know how to compare it. There are certain sort of alternative media left-wing outlets which, you know, I like the Canary, for example. You know, I like the Canary because it's pro-Corbyn. I like the Canary because it's anti-Tory. But the clickbait rhetoric I could really do without. I suppose it's the left's equivalent of the Sun, which probably isn't much of a compliment. But, you know, they're on side in a way because at least they're arguing for the same kind of things I'm arguing for, although they're incredibly anti-Brexit, so I'm not keen on that. But I don't rate the Canary very much, to be honest. You know, yes, great, they're on side, but the sort of journalism they do, I'm not a fan of. Let's see. Farron did a good, especially with how the media have been on him. Yeah, you're right. You're right. As I say, despite how I feel about Farron personally, I'm not going to deny he's done well in this election. He's improved his share of MPs. He's done better than I thought he was going to do as well. So props to Farron. He almost lost his seat, which was quite funny, but he's got some more MPs in there, so he's done fairly well, to be honest. What's with the bare brick wall, Swiss? This is the wall in this particular room. This is like a little room I've got kind of on the edge of the flat, where I can. It's got a couple of plug sockets in the corner. It's not too far away from the Wi-Fi is, so I just dragged all my shit over here. I thought it would give me enough space to live stream, and it would make a bit of a nice difference from this boring old usual white wall that I'm always recording shit in front of. I thought if I was going to be doing a proper live stream for the election, we'd give it a bit more of a, like, you know, an alternative, an alt media underground kind of feel, maybe. Why not? It's been quite a day / night, Astral Frost said. It certainly has. It certainly has. It's been... I'm amazed I made it all the way through. I started getting tired about 4 hours ago. I've got my second win now. I stopped watching TYT Politics when they moved to minimum 20 to 30 minute videos. So did they start to be? Did they used to be shorter then? Because I've been aware of TYT for 5, 6, 7 years, but I've kind of been in and out as far as watching them goes. Great stuff, Matt. Thank you very much. I think people forget that TYT is not for all age groups, maybe. I suppose then the question is, what is the demographic that TYT is aimed at? I'd be interested for your thoughts on that. This was the most fun election coverage I've ever seen. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm pleased that I've managed to put on a good show for you guys. I hope that you've enjoyed me chatting to the different guests that we've had on. I hope you've liked the analysis. I'm super fucking pleased that my prediction seems to have got within striking distance of the actual result. I got it a bit off on the SNP. Well, I got it very off on the SNP. I got it very off on the Lib Dems. But for Labour and Tories, at least within 10 seats either way, I think. So I'm pretty happy with how that's panned out. The 2 days of fucking working out all the stats seems to have been worthwhile. Well, at least for bragging rights, you know, at least I could go, ha, you know, there's fucking ICM and all of these bloody pollsters projecting the Tories with 60, 70, 80 seat majorities. And here's me, a fucking 23-year-old who spends his time in his bedroom fucking making vlogs. And I managed to call the election closer. I'm quite pleased with that. Thank you. I'm being showered with praise here. Careful, you're going to make my ego too big. I laughed when Nick Clegg lost his seat. Should have happened in 2015. It was funny. I'm going to have to go back and watch the actual clip of it because I wasn't able to see it during the night tonight. Tories on 42.4%, Labour on 40.2%. If Labour can stay above 40% when these final few seats come in, I think I'm still in for a decent payday at the bookies. Hopefully, I'll have to check it out. I'll do it before I go to bed. Math and intuition go a long way. Definitely. A little bit of you know, I was taking the polls into account. I was looking at the overall movement. So, like, for example, when the poll said that the UKIP vote was collapsing, I thought, yeah, that's pretty reasonable. It sounds like the UKIP vote is collapsing. When the polls were saying Labour's shooting up in the polls, I was going, yeah, that seems about right to me as well. The individual percentages, I wasn't too sure on. I wasn't going to believe those because they were smattered all over the board. There was nothing to go for on the percentages, so I went for intuition. I looked at the different pollsters. I said, okay, the pollsters who are putting the race closer are assuming that youth turnout is going to be high. I believe that youth turnout is going to be high because I am a youth and all the youths around me are going to be turning out in high numbers. That makes very good sense to me. So that was just kind of how I saw it. Time well spent, 100% better than... Oh, where's it fucking gone? 100% better than BBC Lies. That's right. Well, there we are, folks. It's been a fun night. I say that as if I'm wrapping things up. I'm not necessarily going to do that yet. I still want to see. According to Sky, we've still got 13 more results to come in. But they have declared formally it's going to be a hung parliament now, at least. So the difference that's made up, let's see. I'd said Labour would get 261. I'd said that the Tories would get 313. It looks like they're both going to get a few seats more than that, but no more than 10 seats each, I don't think. Well, maybe the Tories might do a little bit better. I don't know. It depends how many of the remaining constituencies are Tory seats or Labour seats or whatever. You did statistical analysis to make your prediction. Presumably, that's a lot more than most commentators do. You've clearly got the hang of it. I gave it my best go. As I say, what I was shocked by is when I came up with that result, I didn't believe it. I was really skeptical of it. I thought, that doesn't seem right to me. So I was even more surprised when it turned out to be right. I'm pleased that I didn't completely disown it and not bother even sharing it, because then that would have been no good. Good night for Plaid, moved from 3 to 4 seats. Yep, Plaid's another one that I got wrong. I said that Plaid would be on 0, and they've ended up on 4. So it's interesting that the major parties, Tories and Labour, I got fairly correct on that. SNP, Lib Dems and Plaid, I got wrong on that. The Greens got 1, UKIP got 0. That was easy to call, to be honest, though. So that makes fairly good sense. And what else was there? The Northern Irish parties. I said the DUP would lose a seat. In fact, they gained a few seats. I said that Sinn Féin would gain a few seats. They did gain a few seats. I said the Alliance would gain a couple. I don't think that that's panned out. So Northern Ireland was mixed. Northern Ireland was mixed. I was wrong on Scotland. I was mixed on Wales, and I was fairly spot on England. I think that's how it went. 2-vote majority for the SNP. What is this? Lucian Crosby, tell me what's going on here. Are you telling me that the SNP has a 2-vote majority? What is this witchcraft? How many recounts were needed for that? In North East 5? Hang on a moment then. Let me just look at this up real quick. I'm interested to see this, a 2-seat majority. That's an uber marginal. I don't even have the words to describe how marginal that is. 4th recount. Yes, it is a hung parliament, Deep Titanic. How was the SNP's night? Did it turn out as predicted? I thought that the SNP would lose some seats, and it turned out the SNP lost a lot of seats. That's the best way I could sum up the SNP. Is the DUP at 10? Yeah, the DUP is at 10. As far as I know, Corbyn did miles better than Miliband. No, Corbyn did miles better. Miliband was ahead for most of 2010 to 2015 and lost it. More exposure hurt rather than helped Miliband. More exposure helped Corbyn. Yeah, you're right. And to be honest, I think there was an element of the Trumps about this. Hear me out on this. What was Trump portrayed as? Absolute crazy maverick. Gonna push the button. Gonna kill everyone. Gonna crash the economy. Absolute madman, can't be trusted. He's a racist. He's a fascist. He's the new Hitler. And then all Trump needed to do in these TV debates, which he did with Clinton, was not appear like a complete fascist whack job. And then he did rather well. And with Corbyn, for that matter, what was Corbyn? Oh, he's a terrorist-loving red communist who wants to throw everyone in the gulag, and he doesn't even know what day of the week it is. And then he appears in public and on the TV debates, and you go, oh, guess what? He's actually seems fairly competent as what he's doing. This is the problem with the media trying to demonize people with certain attacks. If you go overboard, if you overshill, if you shill too much, then people will look and they will see and they will go, something's amiss here. That's what I think. Literally Hitler, as someone's commented. Yeah. Oh man. Right, when are the next lot of seats to come in? Which seat is this?
Have them better though in Scotland.
It's just a summary, yeah. So here's the thing. Let me bring up the results in Scotland real quick. Results Scotland. So here's the thing with Scotland. The SNP lost 21 seats. The Conservatives gained 12. Labour gained 6, and the Lib Dems gained 3. So let me try and do my arithmetic. If the the SNP had not lost any seats to the Conservatives, they would have 12 more. That would put them on 47. The Conservatives would have 12 less, which would probably put them on... no, the arithmetic still doesn't quite work. Even if the SNP had held all their ground against the Tories, we still wouldn't have been able to push Labour in, it seems. But Mantle says, on the bright side, the SNP got fisted. I mean, they did. They did not do. We knew they were going to lose some ground. There's no way that you set a benchmark that high in 2015 and hope to be able to match it 2 years later in an election, especially with the way that they were playing off Brexit in a second referendum. But they definitely got more of a kicking than I thought they would. Do you think the traditional socialist says, do you think there'll be another election? Yes, I do. If Theresa May is the one to form the next government, which does seem like the most likely thing, I mean, she doesn't even have a majority. I'm not even going to say she's got a wafer thin majority. She's got no majority. She's going to rely off of the DUP to help her push legislation through. She's going to bleed out seats at the various by-elections over the next few years. I think another election before the 5-year term is so likely. So likely. I think it could happen this year, to be quite honest with you, or after Brexit. It will either happen this year, probably in the autumn, or it will happen once the Brexit process is finished. Dudley is in single digits between Labour and the Conservatives. My God. There's been some very tight races here, haven't there? Media is euphoric about Ruth Davidson for adding few con seats in Scotland. Of course they are. The media love Ruth Davidson. They worship the ground she walks on. She can do no wrong, that Ruth Davidson. Excuse me. I might have to call it a day at some point soon, folks, because I am beginning to hang a little bit. I wanted to stay until all the results are in. I may call it a day where we're within the final stretches here. Putting this much effort in deserves more followers than you have. That's very kind, thank you. I think the rate that the channel's been growing over this election's really blown me away, to be honest. I was on 100 seats. Jesus Christ, I do need to get some sleep. I was on 100 subscribers, then like a month later I was on 200, then like 3 weeks later I was on 300, then 1 week later I was on 400, then 4 days later I was on 500. It's gone up crazy amounts. Yeah, no matter how big I get, I still want to do my absolute best to try and reply to as many of your comments as possible on the videos. I do try, but when I get these videos that kick off and they end up getting 3, 4, 5,000 views, it's crazy waking up in the morning and checking the notifications on my phone and seeing, oh, you've got 80 comments on a video, and I think, well, my policy of trying to reply to everybody who comments is going to be the death of me at some point if the channel keeps growing. I've got too many subscribers. That's the problem. We need to shed a few of them. We need to find a way to get rid of them and bring the base back down a little bit lower. What else are people saying? Better night than I thought. UKIP was humiliated badly. They were. Didn't UKIP get about 500,000 votes or so? That is an absolute. They got absolutely thrashed, to be honest. The Outline Observation got it pretty much right, just like the LA Times called Trump. It seems there's a need for other pollsters to change their methods. Yep, I'd agree with you there. I was really hoping Labour would just about squeeze into power so I could go and start gloating all the people who are calling me out when I made my predictions. I'm not going to be able to do that, but what I can do is gloat at all the people who said that the Tories are going to be returned with a large majority. Not the people who just said it, because there's no point in being a dick, but I'm talking about the fucking dickheads who are commenting on the videos in all fucking capitals, going, you're a fucking student politics lefty and you don't know shit. So I'll have some fun there, You've got to have some fun with that kind of thing when you get the chance. I wish you were on 100 seats Labour coalition, mate. Oh, I would do that in a heartbeat. He'd have to make me deputy prime minister, though. The Capn Swiss party. Now, there's an idea. The Swiss party. If things don't pan out for Labour, if things go badly in the next 10, 20 years and the Blairites take it back, you never know. Could try and set up my own party. It is a possibility there. Well, you've done a good job. Thank you. Farage thinks David Davis will make Brexit concessions. I mean, that is the UKIP line, at least. They do think that the Tories are going to make some major concessions. I've said it so many times before. I don't think there's going to be major differences between the Conservatives doing Brexit and Labour doing Brexit. I think fundamentally the cards are stacked against us. The EU have vested interest to make sure that we don't get a particularly good deal. I don't think that no matter how much rhetoric you have saying no deal is better than a bad deal is a no deal, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter to me. I think there are basic principles that are going to happen. We're going to get reciprocal rights. We'll sort out the Northern Irish border. We're going to be leaving the single market. We're going to end the freedom of movement. We're going to start making trade deals with the rest of the world. I think those things would be happening regardless of whether it was Labour or the Tories doing it, to be quite honest with you. And I've said that many times already. Honestly, I felt it would be a small Conservative majority. I'm pleasantly surprised. Yeah, I'm pleased with how that's turned out, at least. Any student of politics, lefty or righty, knows that opportunistic snap election calling usually leads to outcomes like this for the governing party. Well, I had my suspicions. I'm glad you're still up when I woke up. Dedicated. Yep. Oh dear. Oh, I'm just going to go grab another drink. I'll leave you with the lovely people on Sky News for a second.
Looking at the other end of the UK, Scotland, we've had all the results in from Scotland now. We can now officially say that the Conservatives have come second in Scotland, not just in terms of the number of seats, but in terms of the percentage of the vote on 28.6% versus Labour in third place with 27.1%. This is the first time that the Conservatives have beaten Labour in Scotland since 1959, since Harold Macmillan was Prime Minister. And you've got to think to yourself, if it hadn't been for Scotland, just imagine how badly Theresa May would have done. Scotland, in a way, has probably guaranteed, at least for a little while, a Conservative minority government. So how about that?
Ed, it's kind of amazing. On another topic, earlier on you saw me showing you that chart of sterling, of the pound.
I love it. I put Sky News on for 30 seconds and all I hear is, it wasn't a good time for the Tories. Didn't they do pretty good in Scotland? It's I mean, random sample and all that, but that's Sky News for you, probably. Right. Kill Sky News. It's been killed. Don't you worry. Tim Farron and the Racist Milk Drinkers, a swing band coming to a lounge near you. With his brand new single, Market. Hey, that was a bad joke. I don't think we'll leave the single market, not a chance. Most cons want to stay in, as do Labour. There's no consensus for anything else. I don't know about that. This is the thing. I think that if anyone's serious about doing Brexit and doing Brexit properly, you need to leave the single market in order to have a proper Brexit. You need to end the freedom of movement. You need to be able to go make your own trade deals with the other countries in the world. That is what Brexit's all about. Now, as I understand it, I think that Labour's stance is they would like to, I've said this already, I think Labour is saying they would like to try and stay in the single market, but end freedom of movement, which I don't think is possible. The EU's made it quite clear that that's not possible, but if that's their negotiating stance and they're starting off from saying this is what we like, if the EU whittles them down a little bit, they might be able to find something decent there. I suppose that's the difference between the Tory and Labour approaches. The Tory approach is very hard, very firm, very sort of, this is what we're going to get, and we're going to make sure that we get it. And if we don't get what we want, we're going to bugger off without anything. And Labour are sort of saying, these are the things that we'd like, and we're willing to negotiate on some things, and we'd really like to make sure that we get a deal. And there's upsides and downsides to the rhetoric from both sides, to be honest, because obviously on the one hand with Labour, you can go, oh, well, they're just willing to negotiate everything away. They're going to be completely cucks to the EU. They'll sell out on Brexit. But with the Tories on the other hand, you go, well, they're going to be incredibly fucking rigid and bloody difficult, and in the end they're going to make a complete pig's ear of it and ruin all of our relations with everyone and then walk away with us as a failed country. You can look at it either way. As I say, I think whoever was doing Brexit will pan out roughly the same. Thanks for the stream. You're very welcome. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. It's been really good fun to do. It genuinely has. I've had a really good time. I'm worried that people now say this election is a mandate for staying in the single market, says Mantle. I can tell you this much, mate. Look, I know that we have very large disagreements on a number of different things, but at least as a voice from the left, I will be making it loud and clear that I think we should still be leading the single market. I don't know how much influence I'll have. I've only got 500 subscribers, but I'll be making that case to anyone who's willing to listen. What do you think about the Daily Stormer supporting Corbyn? Yes, I heard about that. I don't know if it was satirical or whether they're being serious. I'm inclined to think it's satirical because I don't really think anyone in their right minds could honestly think that Corbyn's some sort of a Nazi. I think it would be stupid to genuinely believe that. So I'm going to say it was satirical, in which case it was pretty funny. I saw the Sargon video on it and I did find it quite amusing. What we got here? I think it was sarticle, a satirical article. I think you're right. 9 on 600 subs now. It may well be, actually. Yeah, we could be hitting that mark. We're on our way. Let me jump back into these results quickly. Tories on 311, Labour on 260. We've got 9 seats left to be declared. So we're wrapping this up now. We're getting near the end of it. It's now guaranteed the Tories will not have a majority. I don't know which seats are left up for grabs, but there are 9 of them left. If the Tories were to get all 9 of them, they'd still end up on 320. So they still wouldn't have enough for a formal majority. Obviously, if Sinn Féin don't take their seats, that makes a working majority slightly different. But as far as a formal absolute majority of the MPs in the House of Commons, no, there's no way the Tories are getting it now. They can push through. They can push through a lot of their agenda, perhaps with support from the DUP. To be honest, I'm going to have to do a little bit of research in the next couple of days because I'm not actually that well versed on the ins and outs of minority governments. I haven't lived through one myself. It's only ever been a majority or a coalition. The last minority governments we saw, I think, were in the, I want to say they're in the 70s. I think it was the 70s was the last time we had a minority government. So it's been a little while. So I'm going to have a little look into what this means in terms of votes, support, and all the rest of it. But I do think the Tories are going to attempt to do a minority government with a confidence and supply with the DUP. That, to me, sounds like what is the most likely outcome of this. And because the DUP are basically Irish Tories, they'll agree with the Tories on most of their policies anyway. Not satirical, Darcy Raven says. Well, it needs to have been. Look, maybe it was satirical, in which case, you know, okay, it's funny them drawing some links there. If it wasn't satirical and the Daily Stormer genuinely believe that Corbyn's a Nazi, then they're wrong and it's stupid. So that's all I've got to say on that. I'm sure the right-wing press would have a field day with that if they pick up on it, though. They go, aha, look, evidence of Corbyn and his anti-Semitism and all the rest of it. DUP will form a coalition with the Tories. Maybe a coalition, maybe confidence and supply. What do the DUP think or stand for? I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. As far as the discussion I was having earlier and my rough understanding of the DUP, they're Irish Conservatives, but like proper old school classical, quite hardline Conservatives, rather than the sort of neoliberal Conservatives we have in this country. Pro-Brexit, do they have a manifesto? Yeah, the DUP have got a manifesto somewhere. I couldn't tell you what's in it. All I know about the DUP is they're the Democratic Unionist Party in Northern Ireland, so they're pro Northern Ireland being part of the UK, and they're right-wing conservative. That's basically what I know about the DUP. And there's a guy in there called Nigel Dodds or Nigel Dobbs. He's like the only DUP. Oh no, I think is Arlene Foster DUP. I've heard of her as well. So I've heard of a couple DUP politicians, but I know that they've been embroiled in some scandal in Northern Ireland lately. There's some policy they brought in about energy heating bills or energy bills, or something to do with heating or energy, and it went awry. There was some sort of a problem with the policy, and they've been getting a battering for it in Northern Ireland. Although that said, they've improved their seat share, so that's quite funny. Mystery Gamer says a Dutch MEP has said Cameron gambled, May gambled, Tory party looks like a casino. It is a good way of putting it. Can't be a hard Brexit, just glad we'll never hear Brexit means Brexit again. Yes, thank goodness. You know what? I think Brexit means Brexit. We're not going to hear that much of it anymore. I think anyone from the Conservative Party who ever uses the term strong and stable again are going to have to be doing it very, very tongue-in-cheek. Arlene Foster's DUP. Cool. That's what I thought. Theresa May will give a speech at 10 a.m. Resignation, question mark? Oh, fucking hell. I'm going to want to see that. No, I need to sleep. I might sleep for 2 hours and set an alarm just to see whatever it is. I don't know. It might just be an intention to form a minority government. I mean, what if she did resign? That would be a complete, that would be an omni shambles, that would. Difficult position for Theresa May, really. I mean, for all intents and purposes, she ought to resign, considering the absolute clusterfuck she's made for the Conservatives. But if she does resign, that means another Conservative leadership election, probably, unless they install some new deputy leader, unless they just coronate someone in the same way they coronated May. Who would take over, though? Who would take over? Now, there's a question. Yeah, so just quickly before I head off, who do you think would become the new Conservative leader if Theresa May stood down? Big names that I hear thrown around. You've got Boris Johnson, you've got David Davis. Amber Rudd held on to her seat just, didn't she? You never know. She's become a bigger name at least, but there we are. People seem to be saying Boris. A lot of people seem to be saying Boris. I'm inclined to agree with you guys, to be honest. Boris, Boris is the most obvious candidate. He's got the most name recognition. He's probably one of the more popular Conservative politicians. He's incredibly fucking, he's been aspiring to be Conservative leader and therefore Prime Minister for quite a little while. Oh my goodness, you know what? We could see the next election being a Boris-led Conservative Party versus a Corbyn-led Labour Party. God, fancy that, eh? Ooh. Well, folks, I think I'm going to head off. I think it's about time. We've had some fun. According to Sky, there's 8 seats left to come in. I don't think we can get any surprises with 8 seats left. We know it's going to be a hung parliament. It'll either be the Tories are about 5 seats short or the Tories are about 10 seats short. It'll be something along those lines. I imagine Labour will pick up a couple more seats, maybe push them over to 262, 263. I'm not entirely sure. As you can see, my brain stopped working, which is definitely means it's time for a good sleep, I think. Yeah, Boris Johnson, 7 seats left. 7 seats left according to BBC. So the BBC are finally ahead of Sky. Well, it had to happen at some point in the evening. Well, folks, it's been good fun. Thank you very much for all of you stuck with me for the entire stream. We've had a good time, I think. We've had a lot of good banter, and we've seen all the results in, or at least most of them. We know how things are going to pan out, and that's when I said I'd be sticking around till anyway. Whenever it is I'm waking up, whenever I hear it is, whatever Theresa May's got to say, I'll be making a video at some point later on in the day with a few thoughts on the election, summarising what's been going on, a little bit of bragging about my prediction. I'm not going to lie, it's not every day that you manage to out-predict a number of the pollsters, so I'm going to be soaking in as much of that as I possibly can. Jacob Rees-Mogg, someone's just said for Tory leader. It's a long shot. It's a very, very long shot, but hey, if Jeremy Corbyn can become leader of the Labour Party, who knows? Right. It's been fun, folks. I'll see you all later on.